Alright, we should be live. Hopefully so. We'll just let it run up a little bit. Today we have a debate. It's patriotic alternatives, Laura Towler, and some gimp called Ricky Doolan, who I don't really know much about. I think he's just kind of like a Civnat lol cow. It's like a debate that it was shared around a lot back in the day. I've not seen it in full, but I've seen quite a few clips of it. It's only an hour long, so we'll probably need to find something else to watch afterwards. But I think it's a little bit easier going than the previous debate, where it was a bit of like a shit show. Too many people, too noisy, especially with people like Destiny and Hassan. I think if we watch another debate and Destiny and Hassan are involved, we probably can't have them both in the very same debate. That was too much to put everybody through. Sincere apologies for that. Even if we got a bit of nostalgia, trying to consume 3 hours of that was just, I gotta say, I did not think that one through. So let's dive into this one. So I think this is a classic Civnat versus Ethnonat debate, hour long, bit easier going, and I think it might be quite fun to kind of deconstruct the, Civnat ideas we all like to ridicule these days. So hopefully it still kind of like stands up. As I said, I saw clips of this a few years ago, so it'd be good to kind of watch it in full. And let's dive in. The cringe is essential to nostalgia. Yeah, the cringe nostalgia overlap in every aspect of your life is undeniable. So let's dive in.
Thank you. So now,
Also, let me know if the levels are okay. I think it should sound okay.
without further ado, let me introduce from Patriotic
Yeah, that looks okay on my end, but let me know how it sounds.
Alternative, Laura Towler.
Hey, oh wow, I'm really close to the camera.
Also, while I'm playing a bit of Burnout here very quickly, I got a few other PS2 games. I've got San Andreas, which works, and I've got Medal of Honor Frontline. Too quiet? Let's turn them up then. Let's turn the chuds up.
How's it going?
Very good. Well, thank you as well to you, Laura, for accepting this debate. There was a lot of debate going on Twitter and in the comments, and a lot was said over the last kind of 7 days, and I think it was the right thing to do to have this debate. So I'm really happy that you accepted, and much respect to you. And I know many people didn't want this to happen. I was even getting messages yesterday from people trying to dissuade this to happen. And what
So I just noticed something right away. The guy, Ricky Doolan, is from a organization called the British Lives Matter. Now, I think what I've seen recently is his interpretation of British is purely ideals. Who are these people? Guy on the left, he's just some Civnat kind of like lol cow. Guy in the middle, don't actually know, but he's just a moderator of this. And the girl on the right is Laura Towler. If you're familiar with Mark Collette from Patriotic Alternative, she's essentially the deputy leader. So she's our Civnat e-girl who we're going to be rooting for in this debate. She's husband to Sam Melania. He was the guy who was in prison for about 2 years for putting up stickers. So she's pretty based. She's pretty trad. I know there's still the kind of skepticism of people like that to be, in a man's space, but there's exceptions to the rule, and I think she is a true great exception. So let's dive in.
what can be bad about a healthy discussion over ideology? So thank you, Laura, for coming here.
No problem. Well, thank you for inviting me. Not many people are willing to talk to people with different views. And also thank you to you, Simon, because I know you've been working really hard and you're really busy lately. So thank you.
No worries at all.
So I think we'll hand over to you, Simon. Say whatever you want to say and how you want to get this thing started.
Right, well, okay. I mean, everybody, the first question people are going to say is, what's your views on immigration? Now, this goes to both of you. So what we'll do, since you're the host, you can wait because she's a lady. You go first, Laura. Well, how do you feel about immigration? What would you do to change immigration? Would you stop it? Would you curtail it? How would you deal with it?
Well, I've wrote an initial statement, if that's okay, which does cover immigration. It details what my concerns are and then what I think the country would be like. Would it be okay to read my statement?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, so I just wanted to introduce myself to the audience and say that my name is Laura Towler and I am the deputy leader of an organisation called Patriotic Alternative. And I know that Ricky pitted this debate as being inclusive patriotism versus exclusive patriotism, which is something I've never heard before. But basically, I'm here today representing nationalism. So, nationalism is the belief that all groups of people have the right to their own home. So, this is a home where their people can flourish and then their culture can flourish as an extension of that. A home where their children can be away from harm and conflict, and a home where they can govern themselves and have self-determination. So I believe that the British have a right to that, just as every other group has a right to that. This does not mean that Britain has to be 100% white. It simply means that we, the British, should be the majority in our own country. So at the moment, Britain is around 75% white British. So this is a figure which has dropped from 82% in 2011 and from 86% in 2001. So the share of British people in Britain continues to fall at a rate of around 5 to 10% per decade. And if we look at England, then the figures are actually much worse. British people are already a minority, so less than 50% of the population in our capital city, London, in Leicester, Luton, Slough, Birmingham, etc., etc., the cities all over the country. And these are cities which are high in crime and low in community cohesion and social trust. So basically, if things continue as they are doing with regards to immigration figures and fertility rates, then by the year 2060, British people will be a minority in the whole of the United Kingdom. By 2037, British children will be a minority in English schools. And by 2027, more than half of the babies which are born in England and Wales will be non-British. That's only...
I think that actually was already achieved in 2020, late 2025 or 2026 now. Or sorry, 2025, or only in 2026 now. I think the majority of births were non-British, so we're already speedrunning our demographic replacement. So the numbers when they say 2066, it's probably going to be, if current trends continue, because I think the debate might have been just prior to the Boris wave, which was in 2020 when Boris Johnson, the conservative right-wing leader of our great nation, he was responsible for the biggest influx of immigrants into the UK ever. I mean, they always kind of like talk shit about the Labour government in the UK. Tony Blair, he opened the floodgates. He unscrewed the taps to the unlimited immigration. But that was essentially like 300,000 to 400,000. But Boris Johnson fucked us over with, I think it was like 1.1 million in the space of a year. And he did so, and this is a real quote, Boris Johnson said, "I did so to befriend the Financial Times." The Financial Times is a British newspaper, and obviously it's just built on big businesses. Big businesses love lots of cheap labour, and, what do we expect, right?
Only 7 years away until more than half of the babies born in England and Wales are non-British. So anybody who tells you that this does not matter is ignoring reality, science, evolution, and nature. If there's one thing that the recent BLM riots taught us, it's that many black people living in Britain relate more to a black man in America than they do to the British people that they live among. Studies show that every single group of people, apart from white people, have a strong ethnic identity and in-group preference. So blacks, Chinese, Muslims, Jews, etc., all encourage each other to collectivise, and they defend themselves and progress themselves as a group. They are allowed to be proud of who they are. Yet white people are told to act as individuals. The idea that a Pakistani man could be Japanese is rightly ludicrous, but we are told that anybody can be British. You just have to have a piece of paper issued by the government. As our share of the population continues to drop, and as non-British people are lifted into positions of power through diversity quotas and inclusion policies, things will continue to worsen for us. More and more of our people will continue to feel like a stranger in their own home. Crime will continue to rise, more statues will be torn down, there will be further demands for reparations and for us to take the knee. Our history will be continued to be rewritten. The censorship of dissident voices will continue, and our children will continue to be overlooked at best and indoctrinated or abused at worst. If this is how bad things already are when we are only 75% of the population, then what will things be like when we are 50% of the population or less? Suggesting that all the different races and ethnic groups living in Britain will suddenly just forget who they are and will come together under liberalism and inclusive patriotism is a naive and infantile thought. We all know decent individuals from different races, but we are not talking about individuals here. We are talking about millions of people, and we have to look at the trends and the behaviour of the overall group. Inclusive patriotism endorses the demographic replacement of my people, the British. Inclusive patriotism does not care about the British because it attempts to dismantle our identity, our communities, and it puts our...
Have you heard a saying more subversive than inclusive patriotism? It's just like so oxymoronic. You know, the idea of nationalism and patriotism is the group. Who's in the group? Who's not in the group? Who's on the edge? Who's simply excluded? And to be inclusive patriotism is to turn that completely on its head. It's to include everybody. And it's just, it just couldn't be any more gay.
Our people at risk. 10 days after the BRLM Facebook page was launched on the 28th of June, Ricky's organisation posted this. At BRLM, we stand firmly with Israel as they move to reclaim the land that is rightly theirs. Yet BRLM do not share the same enthusiasm for the British and our right to claim our land. I believe that BRLM have wrapped globalism in a union flag and called it patriotism. If anybody can be British, then being British means absolutely nothing, and nothing is exactly what inclusive patriotism stands for.
It would surprise me that British Lives Matter thing was also kind of like... Remember the recent Epstein stuff that came out? When Epstein was, I think it was a text actually, or an email, saying like Tommy Robinson can just be bought at any price. And it just makes sense. Dishaloo's player, good to see you. Unfamiliar with this woman? She's a Mark Collette's, who's the leader of Patriotic Alternative. She's the deputy leader, so she's like the ethno-nationalist of this debate. Yeah, let's. I'm actually kind of feeling. I do enjoy a bit of Burnout, but I did download Medal of Honor Frontline. So let's crack that open. I've not played the Medal of Honor Frontline in a very, very long time. I think it was my first game I got on the PS2. I mean to get Silent Hill 2 again because I actually beat the remake the other day. I've actually got my, there we are, my wee Silent Hill 2 tank top on. The remake was actually alright, but it just has nothing against the, it's got nothing on the original. Just that original feel is just so good. So let's boot this up and see if it works. Probably should have tested this before we started, but fuck it.
Organisations like BRLM will pretend to care about you. They will present an issue to you, such as 3 criminals not being deported, and they will allow you to get angry about that issue. They will act as a pressure valve, directing your concern and anger towards that one issue, while at the same time telling you to ignore that you're being demographically replaced in your own home. BRLM care more about selling t-shirts and not being called racist than they do about the future of Britain. For those of you who want to address the serious issues that our nation faces, there is an alternative that genuinely cares about the British and our right to self-determination in our own country. I am unapologetically on the side of the British people, and if you are too, then you are welcome to join us at Patriotic Alternative. Thank you.
Excellent. Right, now, somebody's echoing by.
That's a pretty based introduction, quite long-winded, but I think that pretty well lays out our position in a very palatable way for protecting your own people, isn't it?
So we've got to go to you and ask you, how would you deal with immigration, and how do you feel about immigration, and then also give you the chance to answer what Laura's just said there, because that was quite a bit. So over to you.
All right, let me first address what you said, which is immigration. So there's no question in my position with BRLM that we have a problem. Everybody knows we have a problem with illegal immigration. They come in 200,000.
There he goes. That's the subversive sneakiness. We have a problem with illegal immigration. If I don't mind being demographically replaced, guys, as long as it's done legally, I will happily sell my country down the road for a kebab. As long as it's done legally. See what's happening in Spain, where they're trying to legalize over 500,000 illegal immigrants from sub-Saharan Africa that come into the country in the past few years. So they've come illegally, and through the stroke of a pen, they can be made legal. Therefore, that's essentially the argument he's making. You know, stroke of a pen, make them legal. Therefore, that's now legal immigration. And I think the Spanish people have kind of the Spanish. I think it was one of the politicians was saying we need to legalize these people to fight the far right, and it was literally just so blatant. They literally said, if we make them legal, therefore we can always win against the far right, as in we will have the people to vote with what we want. Crazy. Oh fuck, here we go, D-Day. Are we in Omaha Beach or is this Sword? Doesn't look good.
Yeah, according to the records, it's more than likely more. And it's something that is not good, and it's not good because it's not controlled. So people are coming in, as we see, every single day on boats, arriving at Dover with no IDs. In fact, we saw videos today throwing identification into the ocean, right? So they're coming in, no ID, no background checks, and there is no way that we know what their intentions are, what their skill levels are, what their past education, criminal records are. So we and I think Laura will agree that we have a problem with illegal immigration. Now, where I have a problem with the stance of Laura and Patriotic Alternative is they're not just interested in illegal immigration. They're interested in immigration as a total, and not just immigration as in new immigrants that are coming in, people that are in this country that have immigrated maybe this generation or second generation or third generation. In fact, Patriotic Alternative want to knock on people's doors and tell people to leave simply because, according to Patriotic Alternative, they are not ethnically British. I mean, it's a ludicrous idea. It's a sensationalist idea. And it's an idea that is dangerous to the fabric of society in Britain. In fact, I would say that Black Lives Matter and the extremists on the Black Lives Matter side, such as the the FF Force, are just as dangerous as Patriotic Alternative. In fact, they're two polar opposites of dangerous movements and groups in the country of Britain, and they both should be treated and viewed as dangerous organizations. So
they're dangerous. And bear with me, I need to figure out what the controls are. I thought I could pause the game to see what the controls are, but I don't know fucking anything in this game. Return to War Room. Continue without saving. That was embarrassing. How do I actually play this fucking game?
Yes, we have a problem with immigration, but definitely we don't have a problem with immigrants.
So, okay, so you view Patriot Alternative as a dangerous organisation. Is that what you said?
Very, very dangerous.
Right, okay.
Extremely dangerous. And the reason why they're so dangerous is because they believe in an ethnically white Britain. Now, they're painting their picture very, very clean and very nice. But if you really look into their rhetoric, if you really look into their manifesto that they've put on their website, they believe in a white Britain because they talk about indigenous people. So how do they clarify indigenous people? They do it by skin color. So anybody who hasn't got a skin color of white or is not white British is in danger to the manifesto and the policies that Patriotic Alternative are presenting. They're in danger in one way, because they'll be asked to leave.
Okay, right, Laura, how do you answer that?
Well, first of all, not all white people are British. So there are people who exist, such as the Polish, the Spanish, the Italians, the Swedish, etc. We want a Britain that is British, not just a Britain that is white. Can you please provide me with your source for us wanting to knock on people's doors and ask every single non-white person to leave? Where did you get that from?
How would you do it?
No, you've made that up, Ricky. Can you provide your source?
I've not
yes,
made
you
it
have.
up.
You have made that up.
Hang on, is there a source?
Where did you get it from?
Your website says, right, that there will be a financial package that's offered to anybody who's not ethnically white, British, or indigenous, or can prove a link to indigenous British people. So how are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? There's going to have to be a knock or a letter at the door.
What part of that is knocking on people's doors and saying that if you're not white, you have to leave? What we're talking about here is...
It seems to be a kind of a difficult question that is answered for people who are supporting remigration, whether total remigration or remigration of, enough people where we become a super majority once again. But because there is kind of grey areas, possible elements of disagreement, overlap, uncertainty on the defining line, because there's these kind of possible difficult questions, people like Ricky Doolan's are arguing that, yeah, because there's a level of uncertainty, therefore we should never actually entertain the idea whatsoever. Right, I'm on the fucking beach here. I'm on the beach. I says I'm to meet the captain, and I don't know where the captain is. Found medical canteen. Where am I actually to go? I remember I managed this when I was like 8 years old. But where's the captain? Is it this guy? He looks like a medic. I'll just hang around here for a little bit.
Is voluntary repatriation. Why do you think you have the right to stop somebody from leaving the country if they want to leave the country? If we're offering generous financial incentives for people to leave and somebody says, do you know what, I don't like the way that you've changed Britain anymore, I'll accept some money and I'll leave. Why do you think you have the right to tell people who want to leave that they're not allowed to leave?
Who are you going to select to choose to offer to leave?
Anybody who's not British that wants to leave the country, if PA were in power, is allowed voluntary repatriation.
How do you establish who's not British?
What do you mean? So now you're pretending that the British don't exist?
I'm asking you a very simple question.
The British are a Northwest European ethnic group, so it's the English, the Scottish, the Welsh, etc.
Okay, and what about myself? All right, my grandparents came from Republic of Ireland. Do I need to go back to Ireland?
Okay, so what ethnicity are your mum and your dad?
They're British.
Well, if they're British, then you wouldn't be offered voluntary repatriation, no. If you were non-British, then you could take it if you wanted to, but you wouldn't have to.
So what about two young British children? Let's say 16-year-olds, two 16-year-olds. Their parents have came here from Africa. They were born and raised here. They only know Britain. They don't know anything about Africa. They don't know anything about the language. Are they allowed to stay here?
Anyone who wants to stay is allowed to stay. It's voluntary repatriation.
But would they be asked to leave?
No. If they wanted to take voluntary repatriation, they could take the offer, but they would not be asked to leave.
Okay, but would they be offered the voluntary?
Every single person in the country who's non-British would be offered voluntary repatriation.
What I'm trying to get to the bottom of is how you're establishing a non-British. Are them two people I've just talked about, the two kids that were born and raised here with parents who came from Africa, are they British?
No, they're African.
How are they African?
Guys, it's a great question. How are Africans from Africa African? You ever consider that? How are Africans from Africa African? It's a huge dilemma. And I'm still stuck in this fucking beach. Do I need to wait for like an event to happen? There's a guy over here. This could be my boy here. Are you the captain? Are you the captain? Are you just fucking having a wee cry? Mate, come on, it's war. We need to get on with this. Come on. I remember I need to blow something up. I need to blow the barbed wire up. I don't know where the captain is. I could just be wandering around this beach aimlessly for a while. So let's just keep the debate going.
What do you mean, how are they African? If I was born in China, would I be Chinese?
Yeah, but I told you they're born in Britain.
Yeah, but I'm saying if I was born in China, would I be Chinese?
But what's that got to do with these two kids that are born
because
in Britain?
these are Africans who were born in Britain, and you're saying that they're British because their mum gave birth to them here.
Okay, so they're African.
They're African.
They've never been to Africa. They don't know anything about the language, the food, the culture. They only know Britain. They were born here, they were raised here. They went through school here. They only know Britain. But you're saying they're African and they potentially should go back to Africa.
I'm saying that they're African, and if they want to go back to Africa, they can. I know people who are Pakistani who live in Britain, because I lived in Bradford for 2 years. They don't call themselves British. They say, I'm a Pakistani and I have a British passport.
What about the Pakistanis that do call themselves British?
If you called them British, they'd be offended. Because they're not British, they're Pakistani.
Do call themselves British?
Well, it doesn't matter, they're not. They're British citizens, they've got British passports, but they're not British.
But they're not British.
This is like another big point as well. I mean, it's like, you could argue, you could even have a bit of sympathy for people who, like these Africans who are here. They don't know, they'd never been to Senegal or Nigeria or anything like that. Fuck, I'm dead. But it's not personal. It's not a personal thing. I don't personally, I'm not pointing them out going, I hate you, I want you to go. It's just like, it just has to be, we have to look at this from a bird's eye perspective, zoom out and be like, listen, people like you need to go because, end of the day, if we don't, we're going to lose our country. And I'm not a super total remigration guy. I would be content with the 90%. Super majority. I think in a globalized world, in order to have your country be at a level to kind of compete with other nations. Needs to be some level of kind of give and take with people, but not to the point where you completely sacrifice exactly who you are as a nation and replace your own people. We can, but that conversation can't even happen until more people take a remigration attitude, because we need to have this sort of mindset that we can't give an inch, otherwise we will give a mile. I think that's why, even if you're not a purist of ultimate remigration all have to go. Even if you're not in that sort of like a feeling, I think it's still important to adopt that position, because if you don't, you're already kind of conceding ground. Does that make sense? You're already conceding ground. So I think you need to take the maximalist position. Otherwise, you're just capitulating before you can even begin the battle.
No, they're not British.
So what if okay, let's put it this way. What if the parents came from Pakistan? They gave birth to children. Them children grew up. They had kids. Are their kids British?
You can't become British. You're either British.
Axel Rudikabana, the guy who killed those 3 girls, I mean, he was regarded as a Welsh boy because his parents from Rwanda came to Britain and gave birth to Axel Rudikabana, and therefore that gave the media at the time to frame this massacre as a Welsh choir boy kills 3 girls, when in reality it's African savage immigrant slaughters 3 white British girls. So you can see immediately how, a matter of framing is all it takes.
British because your parents are British or you're not.
Okay, but I've just explained how their parents are British.
The parents aren't British. Their parents are Pakistani.
Oh, so no matter how many generations of children they have, they can't be British.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
that means that
That's it.
over 11 million people in this country are not British at all. Even though they
That's
were
right.
born here, their
That's
parents
right.
were born here, their parents were born here, they're not British.
That's
But
right.
Yes.
I think it's not
Fuck.
only a divisive
Fuck.
ideology, but it's absolutely bat crazy.
Why
How
is
can
it
you
that
say
crazy?
that? How could you? pull
I think you
people's
calling a
identities
Japanese.
to pieces
I
like
think
that.
you
It's
calling a
just as
Japanese
divisive.
person
It's
British
just as
is
divisive
just mental.
as any of the BLM movements, of any of the identity politics that we see in the modern day. It's a really dangerous rhetoric.
I think what's dangerous is you dismantling my identity and saying that being British is just
You're
being born
dismantling
somewhere
11 million
or
people's
having a
identities.
passport. You think that being British is just having a piece of paper from the government. It's so much more than that. We're a distinct group of people. If I was born in New Zealand and I had a New Zealand passport and I like to wear a grass skirt and dance around, and I was like, oh, do you know what? I'm just as Maori as you lot. That would be so offensive because they're a distinct group of people and I respect them as a distinct group of people. And the British, my people, are a distinct group of people too. And that doesn't mean that we can't be respectful of other people. But it just means that they're not British, because if anyone can be British, then being British means absolutely nothing. If all it takes is a piece of paper from the government, then it's a worthless identity, isn't it?
That is the long and the short of it. So I wonder, we're only like 50 minutes in, the debate's only an hour long, and that is really the crux of it. So I wonder what else they talk about for the remaining 50 minutes. I'm going to guess that this guy is just not going to quite digest that, and probably resort to slander like they always do, because that is just what we hear all the time. You can become British because a piece of paper says so. And as he said, if you go to Africa, live in Africa, you're not going to become African. Not that you would really want to, right? All soldiers rescued. We've actually managed to do the objective. So what's next? Rejoin squad at Shingle Embankment. I'm assuming that's this kind of sand dune bit here.
Yeah, you mentioned this piece of paper thing, and you keep mentioning New Zealand, Japan. So if you were born in if you immigrated to New Zealand right now and you had children in New Zealand, they would be seen as New Zealanders, and I'm very
My
sure
children would be
they
British.
would identify as New Zealanders.
No, my children would be
And then
British.
their children would identify as New Zealanders. They wouldn't try and identify as Maori. So you're twisting things up there to try and fit your narrative. And
Well, I'll tell you what, Ricky. So you explain to me what it means to be British. Is it just if you're born here?
what it means to be British is if you're born here, but not only if you're born here, if you live here, if you respect this country, if you've moved to this country, if you've committed to this country,
Okay, so
and you've been given British citizenship, You have every single right, just as much as you, to claim that you are British.
So Salman Abedi, who murdered 22 people in the Manchester Arena bombing, he was born in Manchester and he lived here.
He's literally just kind of going through, you guys remember the Murdoch episode, The Cruel Fate of Kekistan, which I've been looking at. I might do a potential video that I've been kind of like, I did some recording for it. I think it could be a good kind of breakdown, where I'm kind of like breaking down how effective the propaganda is in Murdoch. I don't have to start from the beginning again, do I? Ah, fuck. We're going to have to rely on save states, because I'm too fucking shit at this game. My 8-year-old mind was far, far better. But yeah, like the Cruel Fate of Kekistan, we just let in all the Australopithecines, you know, because they love freedom and our values. They're going to be just like us. He's literally making that exact same argument here. But anyways, as I was saying, the video I might do is essentially just, I'm going to break down that episode. I might do other episodes where I'll break down how effective the show in like a 15-minute cut episode is like more effective propaganda than like say like a Jared Taylor, even though I like Jared Taylor. You know, how if, and rather listen to him for an hour, you could just watch a Murdoch episode for 15 minutes and already digest all the ideas being presented and question your worldview. So I was thinking about doing that. So there might be some more Murdoch content coming out.
All his life. Is he British?
He was British.
Right, so I just want your audience to confirm the fact that you think your idea of patriotism includes terrorists.
No. We're talking about nationality.
Hang on. Hang on. No. The fact that he was a terrorist, the fact that he was born over here, right? And he wasn't a terrorist when he was born. Anybody can turn into a complete wankery turd, right? However, I don't agree that wasn't a fair thing what you just said, Laura. There, I'm just saying.
Well, I'm just making a point that, according to Ricky's definition of what it means to be British, this includes people who hate us. This includes people who aren't even British, who hate everything about our country and want to attack us.
So Britishness is defined whether somebody hates us or
no, it's
not.
just
all right. Here's a question: can you renounce your Britishness? Is there people here that were born and bred here, that were their family have been here for 3 generations, that are now believe now that they're not British? And that they're from, say, for instance, their family from Pakistan, that they now believe, even though that their mum was born here and they were born here, that they're now Pakistani and they hate Britain. Because personally, I believe that's the case. But I mean, I'll put it to you, sir. How do you feel about that? Do you believe that's the case?
Well, first of all, right, I mean, Laura went for the extreme example, and let's just first of all address that, right? No matter how much that Manchester bomber hated this country, no matter how much Shamima Begum hated this country, they were born and raised here. They were given they were British citizens. They are British.
He was literally going to say they were given British passport to essentially capitulate to Laura's argument that because he was given a British passport, that now makes him British. But he had to kind of cut himself off to kind of reframe the language of that because it would not sound too good. And here we are, we're breaking through the embankment. Guys, we're about to save Europe. We're about to save Europe from the bad guys. Let's do this thing.
Unless they say otherwise. What they're doing, their acts are against Britain, is against the British people. It is against the thread of this nation. It's an evil against this country. In fact, they're enemies to this country, but you can't take away the fact that they were born here. It's simple as that. Now, what Laura's trying to do is trying to say that it's only indigenous British people that have the rights that she's talking about here, and she talks about a majority. Where if you watch Laura's speech that she did at the Patriotic Alternative annual get together, she actually says she envisions a 95% white British population. That means millions of people need to leave this country. Now,
Potentially tens of millions. If millions arrive, millions can leave. Take that, Nazi. Take that. Oh, here we go. What's this, an MG42? How do I get on this thing? Yes, here we go.
Question is, after you've offered your incentives and every single one of them says no, what are you going to do?
Well, when you're a movement or a political party, you put forward a strategy that you think is going to work. So the strategy that we've put, and I'm assuming you've done your research and read our 25-point plan.
I'm telling you your strategy doesn't work.
Well, I'm answering your question. What you do is you put forward a strategy. We've got 25 points in our plan, and only one of them is about repatriation. The other 24 are about changing the culture within Britain. So we envision that when we offer voluntary repatriation, the people who will take it will be those who either don't speak English, sponge off the system, hate our country, demand reparations, attack us, all that kind of stuff. And the ones who choose to stay will be the ones who love Britain and the British. So we envision that our plan will work. That's why we put forward our plan. But did you want me to answer a question, Simon, about the Pakistanis?
I did, but we've moved on a bit since then. So,
can I just ask Ricky a question? So, Ricky, all those people who were in the BLM riots, who were like pulling down statues and setting fire to the flag and that, just to clarify, they're British to you, is that right?
I don't know if they're British or not. I don't know where they're from.
Okay. So
that's the problem, mate. That's the fucking problem.
If they were born here and they have British passports, of course they're British.
So when you say British lives matter, your patriotism also includes people like that.
All lives matter. Their actions are wrong.
Guys, remember, all lives matter. We should just stop the debate there. He got us. He got us. He said the words, and now we're defeated. Europe is gone.
Actions are against the thread of this nation and society. But are they British? Is your question, and the answer is yes.
Yeah, and I'm asking. But listen, when you say British lives matter,
but listen, you're trying to paint a different picture here. Now,
well, this is who you're talking about.
Now, let me tell you the truth about inclusive patriotism, all right? It's a patriotism that is accessible to all skin colors, religions, and backgrounds of people that live in this country, that we can be proud.
Remember, Britain is just an economic zone. It's a geographic area. That's all it is. It's the same as France, the same as China. It's just a big zone, economic area, where people are interchangeable, where everyone's invited. I can't believe these people actually take themselves seriously. In a way, when you hear somebody say stuff like that, you just have to like. I know they're not arguing in good faith, but I just think, are they like programmed? Are they NPCs, or are they literally puppets to regurgitate points to kind of corral right wing energy? The guy on the left is called Ricky Doolan. He is just a lol cow.
Out together of this nation, of the flag, of this culture, and it's a uniting force rather than a dividing force, which is what you are proposing, which is that patriotism is only accessible to native white British people. Do you not see the racism in that? Do you not see the divisive nature of that type of statement?
There's no such thing as inclusive patriotism. If your patriotism extends to people from the whole world, then it's not patriotism.
Did an Epstein release say Tommy Robinson would take any amount of money? Exactly that. I mean, I think Tommy Robinson, I don't think he believes what he believes. I think he just wants to scam and make money. Like years ago, back when I kind of like liked him in a way, because he was good initially in the upheaval of the grooming gang scandal, I signed up to like a newsletter, which I've not unsubscribed to for some reason. It's like on like a burner email account. And about every like 2 or 3 days, you always get an email and he's always begging for money. Guys, I've got a new legal case. Guys, I've been sued once again. Guys, we need to do this. And it's just always begging for money. So it is just not only does Tommy Robinson channel the right-wing energy in the negative way, he channels what possible money, which the right-wing people, we don't really fund movements, so what money could be used is just pumped into Tommy Robinson's bank account, which he then spends on cocaine. That is it.
Patriotism, is it? Because if your flag represents a nation, if your flag represents a nation which includes anybody and everybody, bearing in mind that around 2/3 people are coming to this country every single year, then you actually stand for absolutely nothing at all. And that's why I'm glad that I'm part of Patriotic Alternative, because we stand for the indigenous people of these islands.
May I ask you? Indigenous people.
Yes, I do. May I ask you another question? Who are the?
Hang on, one at a time.
Who are the indigenous people? Are they the white people?
The British, yeah. British
people
are white.
Yeah. Do you stand for black people?
British people are white.
Do you stand for black people?
I wish all other people as well, but my people are the British. And
do you stand for Asian people in this country?
What do you mean? Do I stand for them?
Like, do you stand for them?
A small.
Yeah, think about it. Do you stand for people who are not you? I mean, just think about that. Would they stand for us? This is kind of like why, in the video I made about the Israeli and Palestine conflict, I think we're all somewhat sympathetic to the Palestinian cause. However, you probably won't see any of us, people on the right wing, marching in the street for them. We can march in an anti-Israeli protest, but we're not going to march in a pro-Palestine protest because it's not our fight and they're not our people. And at the end of the day, we barely get enough people to march in the street for our own people. So why would we use what energy we have to march for people who are not us? That's the way that I kind of looked at that.
All amount of immigrants is okay, but they're not my people. I put my people first.
Right. So to clarify that, you stand for your people and your people are white British. That's what you're saying. Right, okay. And what you're saying here is you stand for anybody who perceives or thinks or feels or are, as the legal said, are British. Is that correct?
No, I didn't say that. I said
no. I'm asking you actually. I'm putting that.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you. I stand for the people of Britain. All right, the people of Britain.
Now, do you believe that a black person born in?
I thought he was going to add something to that, but it just shows how shallow and empty his point is. I stand for the people of Britain, and Laura's making the case. Well, I stand for the British people. It's kind of like if anyone knows anything about Scottish politics, it's a very interesting, again, subversive use of language where you don't hear the Scottish people. That's never a phrase politicians use in Scotland. They never say the Scottish people. They now say the people of Scotland. Do you see the difference there? Because to have the people of Scotland, it allows the incorporation of what they call the New Scots. And if you're confused, what does the New Scot mean? What's a New Scot? It just means someone who's not Scottish. That's as simple as that. It's very clever, almost Orwellian style of, what did he call it? Is it double speak? When words we kind of like oxymoronic duality to them, so it really doesn't really mean anything. It means what they want it to mean as opposed to what it should mean.
Great Britain, or that comes to Great Britain, could be more patriotic than a white person that's been here for years, who's an absolute tosser.
Is this to me?
No, I'm going to put it to both of you, actually, because it's a reasonable question. So I'll put it to you, Laura, first.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at individuals, there are good and bad in all races, and some white people are arseholes, but you can't look at individuals. You have to look at the trends of the overall group. And you know what? You also can't just pick the best people from each country, because that's not fair. That's not how this works. You have your people, and you should be loyal to your people.
Over to you, Ricky.
Yeah, 100%. I would rather stand with somebody who is patriotic without looking at their skin color. The thing that matters is, does somebody care about this nation? Does somebody care about this nation progressing, this nation prospering? If they do, then that's the person I want to stand with. I don't want to stand with somebody who wants to divide this nation, who wants to racially segregate this nation, who wants to discriminate against people because of race, which actually is the definition of racism. So if you look at what Laura's talking about.
Sorry to interrupt this retard here, but this game's kind of tricky. I'm like, maybe I'm just bad and not kind of like clicking into the old school first-person shooter, but there's like, unlike Time Splitters, there's like no auto-aim. So using this, and you can't, so when you aim, you can't move forwards. It's only kind of like a strafe you can do, apparently. I don't know the button for reload, and yeah, I'm just making excuses for myself here.
And patriotic alternative. They are the definition of racism. And I can't stand that word being thrown around as much as it is in the modern day. And it really loses a lot of its value. But if anybody in this country of Great Britain wants to see racism, they just need to look at Laura and patriotic alternative. They'll find it.
So, Ricky, do you support individualism? Is that right? It's more about the individual than the collective?
It's more, I'll judge individuals on their merit.
Yeah, so...
Listen, no, hang on, I'm not finished. Mm-hmm. The collective is the people of Britain. That is the collective, and we need to reinstall patriotism in this country. What you're doing is you're removing the accessibility of patriotism to anybody who's not white. That is wrong, and that's what's destroying this country.
Yeah, so on your GoFundMe page where you're trying to raise £10,000, it says that you support individualism. So it matters who an individual person is, and other groups shouldn't collectivise as a group. So how would you prevent or break up groups from acting together? Because Black people, Muslims, Jews, etc., have a very strong ethnic identity and in-group preference. So how would you break that up and tell them to act as individuals? Because you're saying white people can't collectivise. So what about other groups? How would you break that up?
Well, I've just told you the unifying factor of all people of Britain, and that is patriotism. That is pride in this nation. That is passion for this country. And the way that we do it is we do it through education. The way that we do it is we go back to the schools. We go back to the universities. We
go back to brainwashing even harder. That's what it comes down to. It's like, because it's not a natural thing. Remember, multiculturalism is so good that we have to have billions of pounds, billions of dollars of propaganda every single second to remind us of how good it is. That's kind of his argument, because if people left their own devices, they don't subscribe to this. This is why Twitter or X is just... I don't know how left-wing people... Maybe I'm not like in an echo chamber. I don't know how left-wing people can like handle X, because as soon as you post anything, it's just like posting on 4chan back in the day. There's just, you know, very anti-India memes, and there's like the classic black people memes, lots of Jew memes. It's just relentless. Every time like a British Labour politician posts anything on X, it's like it's like dipping your toes in like a shark pond. It's I don't know why they even bother.
Introduce patriotism again. We fly the flag. We teach the anthem. We make patriotism something to be proud of, something to be valued. What's happened in the last 10, 20 years, maybe even further, is that they have disintegrated patriotism and they have moved it into subgroups and subcultures. Yes, their mass immigration was part of that. And yes, they did mass immigration with a bad strategy, with too many people at once in too many batches. And they need to stop this illegal immigration that's happening now. But what needs to happen for the future of this country is patriotism needs to be installed back in the country, back in the education system, back on our mainstream medias, and stop this focus on groups, minority groups, segregation of people into LGBTQ, into feminism, into religious groups, into this, into that. And we need to stand together and be united and proud to be British.
Yeah, these are just empty words that mean nothing. If you look at Jews, for example, they have a very, very, very strong in-group...
Oh, it says to destroy the radio link. I'm assuming this is a radio link. Am I supposed to blow it up? I don't even know how to throw a grenade in this game. Mash buttons, that's crouch, that does this, that does that. That changes weapons, that jumps, that shoots. What's going on here?
Preference, and you suddenly think by sending them to university or watching something on TV that they're going to forget their in-group preference and just be like, yeah guys, we're all individuals, let's unite under the flag. Why does white flight exist?
White what?
Why does white flight exist?
Another rumor rest.
White flight, yeah. So when a town becomes more urban and more multicultural, why do white people move away and move to a more white place?
Laura, hang on a minute. You haven't even told me. Oh, white flight. Okay.
Why does white flight exist?
Where's your evidence that white flight exists? I haven't seen anything about white flight.
Well, assume for one moment that it does, and I'll send you some evidence after the debate.
Well, a white flight from where? From Great Britain or from cities?
From cities that become diverse, white people tend to move out to more quiet villages and places which are less diverse. Why does that exist?
You tell me. You're the one who's making that claim, and listen.
It's because people don't mix naturally, and they prefer their own people. Can you tell me what incentives an ethnic minority living in Britain has to adopt your form of patriotism? What incentive have they got? Why would they do that?
Like I said, it starts in the school. Why would they not do it?
Not how would you do it?
Not do it? No, listen,
because there's no reason for them to do it.
I go.
What they're doing right now is they're indoctrinating children in school, right? They're indoctrinating them with ideas of 100 genders, ideas of activism, ideas of reducing masculinity, a lot of different things that are coming from political groups, right? Which I believe is wrong. Well, not just me. The law believes it's wrong. 1996 Education Act. They're not supposed to indoctrinate children, but they are. Why are they doing it, and how are they achieving it? Because children can be taught things. So children need to be taught patriotism. They need to be taught to be proud of this nation, and they can be.
So what you're talking about here is just dismantling thousands and thousands of years of in-group preference for certain races and ethnic groups and just saying, we're going to dismantle that in some universities. There's no incentive for you to do it, but you will support our.
I mean, that's what they've been trying to do in universities already. It's the idea of deconstructivism. If you watch the last video I made, where I used like a sequence from Andrew Breitbart's book, The Righteous Indignation, where he kind of like frames how the Frankfurt School, you know, the Freudian types, they used, rather than using the working class as a means to overthrow and kind of create a revolution, the converse way is to create a cultural revolution by rallying up different minority groups, sexual minority groups, as a means to then turn against society. I mean, I'm sure we all know this, but he's essentially just arguing for that. And I'm just looking up where this radio is, or how to destroy the radio. I think I'm just being retarded. Somebody says I missed another room, but I don't think so. This is the radio room, I'm pretty sure. And then we have this room, and there's nothing, and then it's telling me I need to destroy the radio link, so I'm probably just being retarded here. But I'm going to look up on my phone while we probably play this.
Our flag in our country, even though that means absolutely nothing. I think it's incredibly naive for you to think.
Who does it mean nothing to? Who does it mean nothing to?
It means nothing to people who already have their own identity. They're not going to start going, do you know what? Yeah, Ricky, let's just support the British flag, and I won't identify as a Jew anymore or as a Chinese person anymore. I'm just going to adopt the flag. Listen, we had 19,000 British children, boys and girls, were groomed, tortured and raped last year, and many of the abusers said that they did this because they saw white girls as easy meat. So how long do we have to wait until this colourblind society that you promote kicks in? Because it's not kicking in anytime soon.
First of all, the grooming gangs, right? They are child rapists. Mm-hmm. All right, they're child rapists, and they're also racists because.
And they're also here legally. Did you know that as well? So the legal immigration caused it. This was not caused by illegal immigration. You've got an Odyssey video to show me. Potentially, once we finish this one, which we're halfway through already, I'm a bit skeptical about Odyssey and Rumble videos just because the nature of it. We're streaming on YouTube. I will stream on Rumble on Saturday, but again, it has to be somewhat YouTube friendly. So we got to be somewhat careful about that.
They target white girls. They don't target children of the Asian and communities,
Sikh girls as well.
And the reason why is they said they will get in trouble by the communities. All right, but that doesn't take anything away from the white person, the Asian person, the black person that's committing rape, that's committing trafficking, that's committing any other heinous crime. What you're trying to do is you're trying to use identity politics to prove a point that all black and brown people are wrong to be in this country. I tell you who's wrong to be in this country. You. I don't care about how you want to go about your DNA or how you want to go about anything, but you and your organization, Patriotic Alternative, you're a danger to this country and this society. And I'm telling you now, your ideology is not going to work. But anyway, I've already heard that you guys are crumbling from the inside, so that's okay.
Well, that's not true at all. We're actually growing.
I think this was at the point when Patriotic Alternative was still united with Homeland. Homeland was like an offshoot of Patriotic Alternative. I don't know the drama because I'm not affiliated with them in any way. But there's a guy called Kenny Smith who was leader of the Scottish aspect of Patriotic Alternative. And he, I think there was just, again, infighting, classic right-wing infighting. Everyone wants to be the next Führer. They were just, I don't know, it just became pretty gay. And then, well, the inevitable happened where they split. And I think Homeland has kind of disgraced themselves for being just, because Patriotic Alternative, while Homeland became an actual party, I think it's probably not in our best interest to make these kind of groups like Patriotic Alternative a party. The best thing it can do is to gain enough prominence and support to then be a pressure group. Because if you have a group like, say, like Reform UK, the so-called right-wing change party, the based guys, the base party that's actually now flooded with people, you know, with foreigners, you know, the Reform UK party itself is being demographically replaced, which is pretty ironic. it needs to have pressure groups who are actually right wing to keep it in check. Otherwise, it's just going to fall into the same cycle, similar to what Nick Fuentes is doing with the Groypers, love him or hate him. They are acting as a pressure group against the Republican Party, because the Republicans are really their only shot for getting what they want, quote unquote. But the Republicans are not on their side. So you need to kind of be a pressure group to keep them in check. How that works and how you can actually apply pressure, it is to be seen. I think Fuentes is trying it by people like Vivek Ramaswamy, whatever, by telling people not to vote for him. Simple as that. So if he loses and a Democrat gets in, it kind of shows that they're willing to kind of not self-sacrifice, but kind of like burn bridges or, like salt the earth strategy, which, you got to play hard in this kind of way. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything.
I'm going from strength to strength. So just to confirm...
So the Bulldog nationalists agree with you?
What do you mean? People disagree on certain things, but it doesn't mean that PA is crumbling. So can I just confirm, you do not care if the ethnic British become a minority in Britain? Is that right?
I don't think I said that. You've been...
No, well, I'm asking you, can you confirm, if native British people became 50% of the population or less in Britain, would you care about that, or would you not care?
Let me address that. All right? Because according to you, your manifesto and your rhetoric, 2060 is around the period when you say that the British...
Not me, Professor David Coleman from the University of Oxford.
All right, so Professor David Coleman said it, right? Let me just tell you something about that first. That is an estimation.
It's based on current trends.
Fact. You presented it like it's a fact.
It's a fact. It's based on current trends.
It's an estimation. It's
a prediction based on current trends.
Because it hasn't come to pass, and it's more than likely not going to come to pass.
If
we do something about it now. And what we have to do is stop illegal immigration. We have to encourage birth rates to go up. And listen, if you even look at the model in Iran, all right, the Persian people for thousands of years, even all the way back to the Old Testament and them times, have been attacked with real invasions. I mean, invasions with weapons. No, I've got a point. Let me finish my point.
Can you answer the question?
Hang on one second, Ricky, I'm not going to stop you.
For thousands of years, the Persian people have not stopped being the majority in Iran. So for you to predict that in 2060 we'll be a line...
That's a wild argument, because the Persian people haven't been demographically replaced. I mean, there are some countries that do not have any risk of being demographically replaced in predictably 500 to 1,000 years. Indians, Chinese, anywhere in sub-Saharan Africa probably. It really is just kind of like East Asians, South Koreans, Japanese. But they've got this sort of predicament where, yes, their birth rates are low, but so they've got a decision to make. Do they just accept that? Let civilization take its course? At which point, it will likely correct itself. That will happen. Or do they hit the panic button and bring in 10 million Indians and Africans? What's your choice? We've made a choice, and in my humble opinion, it's the wrong one. And the Japanese are kind of on a knife edge. But don't they have that new kind of based leader, the woman, ironically? She's very anti-immigration. But then again, is she anti just illegal immigration? Is she going to sign deals like, who's the Italian lady? Maloney? We didn't make the choice. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, Maloney was super based, but then I think there's been so many kind of illegals coming through Italy, and she's not really done much about it. Are her hands tied behind her back? Is she actually based, or is she just kind of incompetent? I don't know much about Italian politics, so no.
The white British will be a minority.
Ricky, you got to listen to this, right? What you've just said is that his estimations were wrong, but you said that.
No. I said they're an estimation, right?
Right, okay.
That's a fact.
His estimations would be correct if things continue.
How would they be correct?
Hang on, you've just said if we change them, they won't be correct. All right. You said if we change them, they won't be correct. And you're correct in saying that if we change them. But if things stay the same, then they will be correct.
Well, listen,
I've got
she
to
threw
pick
a
you up on that.
hypothesis. No, she threw a hypothesis out, and I threw one back.
No, it's a prediction based on current trends.
All
So
right.
let's,
Well, I also throw out a prediction.
okay, well, let's just for a moment forget
Let me just
whether
make
it
up a
will or
prediction.
will not happen. If it did happen, would you think that that was a bad thing or a good thing? The British becoming a minority in Britain.
That's a great question. That's the way it kind of needs to be framed, because if we're stuck in the mud of whether it happens or not, but then again, people can just maybe say, I don't like useless hypotheticals. But that's really the crux of it. Whether or not we can agree on why it's happening, it is happening. What's your position? Do you think it's a good thing that it is happening? And that's how it needs to be framed. Because it kind of puts people in the back foot where you can't really admit, actually, yeah, I think it's totally fine that this group of people ceases to exist. You just couldn't get away with that on any other group of people anywhere else in the world.
I think that if it happens, it happens because I believe the British people are the British people. I don't believe the British people are just
Okay, we're
white
talking
people.
about the native British, the English, Scottish, Welsh, etc. If
Okay,
they
let's talk
became
about
a
the native
minority in
British.
their
All right,
country,
who-
would you
who-
think
who were
that that
the-
was
who
a
were the
good
first-
thing or a bad thing?
Laura, who were the first British people?
Why can it answer the question?
Who were the first British people?
British people are Northwest European, so it was the Celts who were here first, and then we had invasions from other Northwest European
German?
tribes.
From Germany.
That's who we are, yeah.
Oh, so we're German.
We're Northwest Europeans, yeah. We came from Europe.
So we're
That's who we
German.
are.
But they weren't called German then, were they?
As an English person,
Are
I'm
you a
Celtic
moderator?
and
Or are
I'm
you in this
Saxon.
debate?
Sorry, Shaq. I'll shut up.
Can you answer the question, Ricky? If the British became a minority in Britain, I've asked you 4 times now.
I've already answered the question. I already answered the question.
What was the
I
answer?
don't believe, and I know that British is not just white people. All right, we're a
But, okay,
country
but if it
with people
did
with
happen-
many different skin colors that have came from many different lineages. And I tell you what, some of them are way more British than you.
Yeah, we talk about the British lineage. When people talk about we've came across the entire world, we were Celts, we were the Angles, we were the Saxons, we were the Picts, we were the English, the Welsh, the Irish, we were the Danes. Just look at a fucking map. It literally is. I've got a map above me here. It's about, in the world map, it's like a tiny little circle of northwestern Europe. That's what they mean by all over the world. Nothing. It's not really the same as dropping someone from Somalia next door. It's I'm sure we all know this. I'm kind of preaching to the choir here.
There are different levels to being British. You're either British or you're not. So the audience want to know if you think the British becoming a minority in Britain is a good thing or not. You don't seem to want to
I've
answer.
already answered the question, but you
No,
want to keep
if it
asking me.
happened,
You're
if it
talking
happened,
like you have some great point that you're trying to.
Why won't you answer the
but listen,
question?
let me tell you something. I am passionate about this nation, and I want the best for this nation. And I know many people with black skin, with different shades of skin, that want the same type of prosperity and good future for their children and even their children's children in this country.
Okay,
that
that's
makes
nice.
them.
But that's not what I'm
Listen.
asking you.
That makes.
I mean, that's true, but it's not for their children. You know what I mean? It's not for them. It's for us. Just because we've got it good here doesn't mean they can come over and then take it. Because I mean, again, I think we channel our energy in the wrong way because I know there's maybe hatred towards people who shouldn't be here, but I think the hatred is misguided because we shouldn't actually blame them for coming here. They're here because they've been allowed to come here. Because if you're in their shoes, you would do exactly the same. But that's not the point. Oh, here we go. Guys, the German Empire is coming to an end here. The based Brits, the based allies. This is it. I need to get out of here. This is going to explode, isn't it? Let's get that. Here we go. Let's get the fuck out. Oop.
Them just as much patriotic as
Okay,
you or me.
this was the last conversation. I'm now asking you about the actual, the English, the Scottish, the Welsh, etc., the native British. If they became a minority in Britain, despite whether you believe it's going to happen or not, would you think that that was a good thing or a bad thing?
But I've just told you they can't become a minority.
No, I'm asking
How can they become a minority?
Simon. Do you understand the question? I'm saying if it.
Again, that is like a crazy. He's just like, he's framed his own way of interpreting it so he can completely reject the premise. You almost have to admire how sneaky and subversive that technique is in a debate. You outright reject the premise, therefore you can never actually be so it can't be used against you because it doesn't exist.
It happens if we become less than 50%.
No, I understand.
I'll ask the question again to me.
The native British, so the English, Scottish, Welsh, etc., the ethnically British, if we became less than 50% of the population in the future, so if we became a minority in Britain, would Ricky think that was a good thing or a bad thing?
And Ricky said, as long as they think they're British or they're
I
happy
never
to.
said that.
Hang on.
You said you were neutral.
I am neutral, but what you
Yeah, so
said,
be neutral
as long as they're happy to be British and they're British, you don't matter what colour
say
they're.
that.
All right,
I
can you reword
all
it?
right, I'm going to do it. All right. I said that the British people won't become a minority because the British people are made up of people of all colours, backgrounds, religions. So how can they become a minority? It's impossible.
I'm asking you about
You're talking about white people.
I'm asking you about the native British. You know,
You're
people who are
talking about
ethnically
white
British.
people.
Yeah, ethnically
Guess,
British.
guess what? Britain
Why
is
won't
not
you
just
answer the
white
question?
anymore.
I
British
feel
is
like
not
you
just
want to
white
hide.
anymore.
Is not just white anymore. You see how he kind of slipped there? It's almost like accepting that it was. And then he's kind of slipped by saying it's not anymore. So what's it going to be in 50 years' time? He's kind of let that slip there. I don't think many people would catch that.
This from your supporters because you don't want to admit that you don't
I'm not
care.
hiding anything.
So answer the question then.
But no,
Answer the
place where
question.
I've told you the answer.
No, you haven't. I'm
I've
talking
told you
about
the
the
answer.
ethnically British. Would you care about
What your classification of
minority or
ethnically
not?
British is not British to me. British is many different skin colours, many different
So
backgrounds.
you don't even
That is the
recognise that
reality.
there is an
You're
ethnic
talking.
group of British
You're
people?
talking. No,
Is that where
you're
we are now?
talking about skin colour.
I'm talking about
You
ethnicity.
can wrap it up. You can wrap it up in ethnicity and indigenous as much as you want. You're
Ricky,
talking about skin colour.
if you think that ethnicity
that
is just
people
skin
can't be
colour.
British. All right, let me ask you this question: can a black person be English?
No, English is an ethnicity.
I can't believe we're like 37 minutes in. And he's kind of like having to ask that question just to like double check. And she's having to repeat herself. So I feel like we may have a bit of deja vu here. But hopefully understanding that, hopefully she can maybe kind of lay out a few more questions just to kind of catch him out again.
Is Raheem Sterling English?
No.
Is Rio Ferdinand?
Oh, there's our boy Goebbels there.
Do you not admit that the British are an ethnic group? I know you think everyone's British, but do you think that you can be ethnically British?
I just think the people of Britain are British.
Do you not agree that there is an ethnicity called British as well? So when I took my DNA test, it said that I was British. Can you admit that that's a thing?
Your DNA test said what?
That I was British. Can you admit that that's a thing?
How far did your DNA test go?
Why can you not answer the question?
And should everybody take a DNA test to prove that they're
No.
British?
People know what ethnicity they are. Why can you not answer the question? So you won't answer about the British becoming a minority in Britain, and you won't even admit that the ethnically British exist. That we are an ethnic group. That's how. And you call yourself a patriot. You have the same political views.
People, no matter if they're white, no matter if they're black, no matter if they're Asian, the British people are the British people. You're trying to stand for a skin color. You can wrap it up in ethnicity as much as you want. And look, let me just say this, yeah. So Patriotic Alternatives leader Mark Collette, young Nazi and proud. That we all saw the Channel 4 documentary of him not only showing.
The Young Nazi and Proud documentary. Do you think I should maybe like do my style of video on that? That was the video. Maybe I can actually quickly get that up just to kind of give people perspective. See if that could be quite a fun one to watch. Is it Young Nazi and Proud? Because this could be a kind of fun video to do. It's an hour long. What I would need to do is like upload the video. I would need to run it through the algorithm to see if it's going to be flagged by copyright. But a lot of people seemingly have uploaded it again and again. Look at a young Mark Collette there. It's quite funny, isn't it? That's gay.
There's confrontation. BNP candidate Mark Collette squares up to protesters outside Leeds Town Hall. That is quite a good picture, actually, isn't it? What do you think to the picture?
Yeah, very good.
That picture though, that I've looked at the picture, mate. That is it. That is a.
How old is he then? He must have been like late 20s there. That's funny. I might consider doing that. That could be a good video. Where were we?
Admiration for Adolf Hitler, but even showing admiration for Nazi Germany in 1930, and saying that was something that can be admired. That when you see them do the Sieg Heil, that it can be, it's admirable. And before you tell me that was years ago, well, I've read his book, Fall of the Western Man. He mentions 15 times National Socialism. He hasn't changed his opinion. His opinion that's your leader. Do you agree with that position?
In this debate, Ricky, you do not get to throw the scary N-word, Nazi, and think that you've won an argument, because that won't wash with me. If you have a problem with National Socialism, then it's now your responsibility to dismantle why you disagree with Marx's ideology. You don't just get to go Nazi or fascist and think that you agree with the ideology because you haven't.
Do you
Mark
agree with the
isn't
ideology?
a National Socialist. Patriotic Alternative is not a National Socialist organisation. He's somebody who loves Britain a lot more than you do, and he's a real patriot.
You don't believe in National Socialism?
I'm not a National Socialist. Patriotic Alternative is not a National Socialist organisation. I mean, you can't even admit that the British are an ethnic group, and you don't care about British people becoming a minority in our own country.
You're trying to brush this under the carpet, right?
This is the single-handed issue that we face today.
The Nazis murdered 8 million Jews, and you're leader of your group.
How many? 8 million. I thought it was more like 25 million, 30 million, 50 million maybe. Is this guy like a Holocaust denier? I can't believe that. Get this guy off my screen here.
Is sympathizing with them, admiring them. That's dangerous. Do you not see that as dangerous?
What I see is dangerous. You support Israel as being the home of the Jewish people. Jews murdered more people with the Holodomor. They murdered up to 20 million people, but that doesn't stop you because it's not in existence today, so it doesn't matter. So instead of throwing up,
the 6-Day War, Israel won the 6-Day War, and they
why do you agree for a homeland for Jews in Israel, but you don't for British people in Britain?
Because Britain's not occupied by foreign forces.
Well, some might disagree.
Is debatable? Britain occupied by foreign forces? I mean, just look at the Labour front bench. That's all you really need to do. Where am I and what am I actually doing in this mission? What's actually happening? Man the machine gun in the church. Secure submarine fueling roster. Breach. I love these old games like this. It just kind of gives you a list of stuff to do. There's no arrow to follow. Granted, I don't really know what I'm doing because I'm listening to this. But I love this style of, this is what you got to do. Good luck. Have at it. Time Splitters did this. It's great.
Some might disagree with that.
Yeah, but listen, you are not answering the question about your leader, Mark Paulette, and his Nazi sympathizing, right? Now, if you pair the fact that he's got a history of Nazi sympathizing with the fact that you guys are pushing an agenda.
Sorry, I just picked up 20 grenades. Is that normal? What the fuck? I just picked up 20.
Of a white Britain. Alarm bells are ringing. Red flags are out. You don't see that? Laurie, you seem like a sensible girl. I don't know if you've been brainwashed into this nonsense or what, but it is nonsense. You guys are just as dangerous as the far left. You guys are the far right. You are dangerous.
So you're just throwing labels about. You sound like you belong.
These
you belong in hope, not hate.
No. These are real
labels.
Fuck.
You've called us fascist. You've called us racist. You've called us far right.
I never called you a Nazi.
Ricky, it's pathetic.
I never called you a Nazi.
It's absolutely pathetic.
Simon, I never called them a Nazi. She's putting words in my mouth. I told her leader is a Nazi sympathizer, and that's a fact. There's evidence.
He's not a Nazi. Nazi, for a start, is an anti-white slur.
National Socialism is Nazism. Look it up.
National Socialism is just an ideology. If you have a problem with it, you don't just get to say. You don't just get to say Nazism.
Isn't it
You've got
funny?
to be scared of me now.
Laura,
dismantle the ideology, then, Ricky. Dismantle the
Isn't
ideology.
it funny? All right, I'll dismantle it. All right, I'll dismantle it. 8 million Jews dead in Europe. Dismantled. Finished.
Where's he getting that number from? This guy's mad. The name of the video, I just googled Ricky Doolan versus Laura Towler. There's a few kind of highlight ones. I think this video is just like it's the one that's 56 minutes long. So if you're so inclined to listen to this, say again, I don't really frame, again, debate is almost interpreted as two people are going to have at it, and at the end somebody quote unquote wins, and the other person's mind is going to be changed. What I like about debates like this is not to change my mind, or like, if you were a Ricky Doolan fan, if that even exists, maybe you would see him being exposed in a way. But these are just entertaining because they just bring to light. Because it's not as if you and I are having debates every single day in our lives. So it's interesting to see our ideas be challenged. Because if they're never challenged, then if you were face to face with someone, then, you know, the chud dialectic, if it didn't stand any sort of, you know, if it had no weight behind it, then none of us would be chuds anymore. But videos like this probably remind us that actually we do have it kind of right here. So let's kind of like double down.
That is not the ideology.
National socialism was a
proven.
Right, Nazi party
That's
were a Nazi
ridiculous.
party. National socialism is a political ideology. But anyway, right.
That caused millions of Jews to die.
Yeah, well, right, okay. Now,
No, you can't just say.
no. I've not said. I've said. I'm going.
Are we running away from that truth?
Have I said that? I was just listening to you and going, hey, yeah, fair enough, because I can't be going to go, you're right, you're wrong, can I? As much as I can, right? But you want to know, does Mark Collett, like, worship Adolf Hitler? Now, you're saying that he doesn't. Is that correct?
Matt Collett does not worship Adolf Hitler. Patriotic Alternative has put forward a plan, and you can read the plan, and it's not National Socialism. If we were a National Socialist pair of people, then Pierre's plan would be National Socialism. What Ricky's trying to do is bring up the Holocaust, which is, you know, the scariest event from history, to shut down the debate. But he doesn't care about the fact that Jews murdered 20 million people in the Holodomor. In fact, he actually supports a homeland for the Jews in Israel, but he won't do that for the British people in Britain. That's
right,
how
what Laura's just done is, you might have missed it, but what Laura just did is an anti-Semitic slur.
Oh,
right
now
there.
I'm anti-Semitic as well.
The Jews were not responsible for Holodomor. You are just throwing things out there.
Well, Mark Collett isn't responsible for the Holocaust, but it doesn't stop you bringing it up.
Yeah, and I didn't say that he was. I just said that he supports the regime that caused and enacted the murder of millions of Jews, and that is a fact.
That is
you
not
can't deny it.
All right. Well,
it's
look,
on video, Channel 4, and you can read his book. It's right there.
That
National
documentary is
Socialism.
from 20 years ago.
This not me. Do you know him better than me?
Do you want to get onto
I
different
do know him
questions?
better than you.
How would
The
you deal with the
fucking
benefit system?
moderator can't be fucked with us anymore.
Each of you. Right. I'll go to you, Ricky. How would you deal with the benefit system?
A benefit system for people coming into this country.
How would you deal with it?
If they're coming in illegally, they need to be returned. No benefits.
But we've got the
Based?
problem. We have a problem as well with the UN agreement in 1951, which says we've got to give them all of that shit.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. But listen, is when it comes down to December the 31st and when we Brexit, we are going to have more power, and we're going to have the chance to put the
When was this debate? Talk about Brexit?
Maritime Power Act in and turn the boats around on the water if they're deemed to be illegal immigrants.
Laura, what do you think?
Well, first of all, illegal immigration is just a drop in the water compared to legal immigration. When it comes to legal immigration, we're talking about 2/3 of a million people who are coming into the country every single year. So the figures of illegal immigrants is actually completely insignificant. But what I would do is change the benefits system completely so that rather than it being a hammock that people can lie in and sponge off for their whole lives, it would be a safety net for people in times of need. You would have no benefits if you don't speak English. You would have no benefits unless you're an actual British citizen and you can prove that you're a functioning member of society. But just the concept that illegal immigration, if we stop illegal immigration, we're suddenly going to save the country is ridiculous. For a start, we have people in the country already, a quarter of the population, who have very high fertility rates compared to British people. We're talking 2.5 children per woman for black families and 3.5 children per woman for Pakistani families. And you somehow seem to think that can just stay, and if we stop illegal immigration, all the problems will be fixed. It's just an incredibly infantile and childish way of thinking. I honestly feel like I'm talking to a 10-year-old.
Right, second, right, over to you.
He does have that sort of like very punchable face as well. I think he's got a really shit beard now. I think I saw a clip. I forget, was it Count Dankula or that other Scottish sort of like chud, No Chance. I think he's been shitting on Ricky Doolan these days. But yeah, he's just Jacob Wolf. Jacob Wolf is Yogami. Who's Jacob Wall again? Jacob Wall. That name rings a bell. Jacob Wall. Is he the young guy, stockbrokery type guy?
Can you
Throw some insults out?
right? Okay. Can I have 1 minute out of here, just for 2 seconds, and come back? Can you answer that question in a second, Ricky? I literally bathroom. Sorry.
All right. So look, this is the thing. You never answered me about your leader. Like I said, you seem smart. I don't know how you got into all this stuff, but your leader has proven that he's a sympathizer with the Nazis, with Adolf Hitler, and you guys are pushing an agenda that is against anybody who's not white. That's all. That's kind of the same type of ideology in the Holocaust, wasn't it? It was ethnic cleansing.
Oh,
And
the
you guys
Holocaust. The Holocaust
yeah,
again.
but listen, all right,
Let's bring up the Holocaust because we're losing the argument.
No, but you guys are promoting an agenda that is a political ethnic cleansing. Do you not see that?
It's not. How is it an ethnic cleansing?
Because you want
Offering
to
people
clean
to leave.
all ethnicities out of the country who are not white.
Ricky, what is the difference between your views and somebody like Ash Sarkar or David Lammy? Because they also think that they are British. So what is the difference between your views and theirs?
My views are very different.
How?
They're not against illegal immigration. They're not.
Okay, so let's just forget about illegal immigration, but their entire worldview.
Also, Remainers.
How do you differ from somebody like that?
Listen, this is how I differentiate. I believe in a Britain with secure borders, with a points-based immigration system. I believe in a Britain that takes back foreign aid and invests it in Britain. I believe in a Britain that does everything to make British manufacturing come back and British jobs to increase. And I believe in a Britain that's very difficult to immigrate to, that only accepts people that are going to benefit this country.
You know, I think it's quite interesting that what he said there is very palatable. And you can probably nod your head and say, yeah, I agree with that, I agree with that. But he then subverts the entire message to kind of use it against us. Where am I going? It says here, if you've breached the wall, you've gone too far. What does it mean by that? Kind of like soft, is it saying if you fuck up, you're going to soft lock yourself? And then it says the fueling roster. No, the fueling roster is on the wall in the interrogation room. Where the fuck is the interrogation room? I don't know where I'm going. Oh, there's a hole here. Never mind. We're making progress now.
That's what I believe.
Benefit
that's
who?
why I'm different to Ash
Benefit
Sarkar,
who?
and that's how I'm different.
Is it
to
benefiting the native population if Chinese, high IQ immigrants are coming over and taking their jobs? Is that benefiting the native
I'll tell you
population?
who it's benefiting. I'll tell you who it's benefiting. The people of Britain. And that's
The
what
new people who
What?
are coming over from China
What the
because they're
fuck's
just
this
as
guy
British
talking
as
about?
us, right? So yeah, it does benefit them, I'm guessing, but it does.
You have the high IQ Chinese come in and replace all of your jobs. That actually benefits the Britons because what? It's just beyond parody now. Let's nail these guys. Let's nail these Germans. Guys, you can't call me a sympathizer. I'm currently killing the Nazis right now.
Doesn't actually benefit the British, does it? And I'm talking about the actual British, not just people with British passports. How does the British people becoming a minority in their own country and feeling like a stranger in their own town and crime increasing and then their kids being the only English kid in a classroom, how does that benefit them at all?
Well,
it doesn't.
Listen, that's a problem with immigration. And I've agreed with you, Laura, on immigration.
You've just said that you support a points-based system. That won't slow immigration down. It will just be a different class of immigrants. No, it won't.
It will slow it down.
Well, that tells me that you don't understand the new plan because it won't.
It will, because it will be harder to get into the country.
The required salary is just above minimum wage. It will not slow it down.
I mean, you keep talking about indigenous British. So I challenge you to a DNA test, and you publicly post your results so we can see how British you are.
Yeah, okay, it's already on YouTube. I'm 100.
Best. There we go. Already posted DNA results. On a quick side topic, I don't know about you guys, but I really like the sort of like pre-animated animations from like when you shoot people in this game. I think some games, even the kind of modern games, I feel like if the sort of death animations are just, if they go to like the silly ragdoll, it just really takes you out of the experience. So I'd much rather have either pre-rendered animations, or unless every game's like Max Payne 3, they should just do pre-rendered ones, because so many games, even like Assassin's Creed games, The body falls like it's made out of Play-Doh that's like filled with water, and then they just like spaz out, and it's just like I don't know how they just haven't quite figured it out yet after so long.
100% Northwest European.
Okay, so then we need to see it. Can you retweet it tonight so we can see just?
You can
how
go to my
British you are,
YouTube
that
channel and see it.
You are so indigenous British that you
I
have
am.
the right to tell many other British people in this country who don't share the same DNA as you that they shouldn't be living here. It's you couldn't write it. It's
Well,
crazy.
again, I haven't said that they shouldn't be living here. I've said that they can have
Well, listen,
voluntary repatriation.
let me talk about your repatriation plan, all right? So your repatriation plan is to offer incentives of around £15,000 to people who are not indigenous, who are not white British.
See the repatriation. Something Enoch Powell said, something that other people are kind of peddling. Is the money incentive actually a good thing to do? I mean, yes, it's kind of like if you want to encourage people to go, to make it a lot easier, you know, the money you would spend to force people out, it kind of like makes it up, and it makes it a lot easier to use the money just to give to them to fuck off essentially. But then how do you get the feedback loop of somebody who is, I suppose if you know somebody's turned up and they need to go, you know, like, oh, we've already given you money and here you are again, you're not getting anything this time. I mean, I'm not so sure. I'm just kind of like thinking about it because it almost feels bad. It's like, it feels like we're rewarding them for, you know, I'm talking about the legal immigrants who, I suppose they don't need to be given money, right? They're illegal, they don't get anything, they get kicked out. But the legal immigrants, I'm not sure. I guess it depends on how much you're really giving. I suppose at the end of the day, the cost of keeping them here, the civilizational cost, the cultural cost, and the monetary cost will be far more greater than the cost of just giving them a lump sum to get them to fuck off, right?
In their DNA, in their history and background. Now you're looking at around 11 million people that are not white, British, or indigenous, as you say. So let's just put your 15,000 into 11 million, and guess what you get? 165 billion. That's the exact amount of money that Jeff Bezos is worth. Where are you getting your 165 billion from?
Well, for a start, international aid is around 14 billion per year, and we haven't suggested that they all have to leave in the same year. There's all sorts of places where we can take the money from. I'm actually not concerned about the economic side of it at all. For an example, NHS translators cost us £64,000 per day. Even things like that would be 4 people a day. But international aid is 0.7% of profit. So that's around, that's, I mean, we could cover it in maybe 10 years just from international aid alone.
Yeah, the translation stuff is insane. That is such a black pill. When you look into the money being spent on the translation services, it is mental. And I remember years and years ago, there was like a, you're off the wage cage. I'm glad. Wage cage. I'm glad I've escaped it. I saw this like funny tweet the other day and it just said, guys, did you know you can actually just quit your job and never go back? Does anyone realize this? Yes, I'll probably need a job again as soon, but again, I love being unemployed. Well, I'm not unemployed. I am what's like a gay way of putting it? I'm a content creator, right? I'm a, what would you say I am? I'm just a chud. Just an online chud. And I go travelling with the missus, come back, maybe find a job then afterwards, but we'll see. I was going to say something else there. Oh, what the fuck was it? It's escaped me. It's escaped me, I'm afraid.
But I think
we're not saying that everybody has to leave in the first year. We're saying over time, that's how it would go on. So the financial side is not a problem at all.
Everybody has to leave over time.
Not everybody, but anybody who wants
I mean,
to.
everyone who's not white. Oh, okay. Okay, I missed that point.
You mean British?
Sorry, I missed that point. So you're saying that they don't have to leave. So if everybody refuses, it's fine.
We're offering voluntary repatriation if people want to take it. So we've been through this quite a few times.
It needs to be clear. If everyone says no, then the country will remain as it is.
I actually did a speech at the last conference, so it's already very clear. Feel free to go and watch that.
So on your DNA test, you said it's northern European, so that
It's
that
Northwest
doesn't mean
European. hmm
that doesn't
That-
mean it's British,
That's
right?
who we are. Who do you think we are? Where do you think
So
we
that
came
means-
from?
So that means everybody is not really truly British, right? If
No,
you're
it doesn't mean
if you're
that.
Northwestern
Okay,
European, it could be
so now we
it could be Holland.
just for the audience to listen to this, we're now doing that the British people don't exist argument. You have the same
They do
arguments as
exist.
people like hope not hate.
No, the
Honestly,
British people
Ricky,
do exist.
this
The
is not
British people are
patriotism.
here.
You're saying
The
that British people
are
don't
here,
exist.
and some of them are black.
I just that's just again that's just so infuriating to listen to. The British people are here, and it's just oh my days, man. Honestly, again, this is why a lot of people shouldn't be allowed to vote, because this is just voting with you. Yeah, I've actually read. No, never mind. Actually, never mind.
You're saying that British people don't
Some
exist.
British people are black.
This is what people with FBPE in their Twitter names do. You have
So
the same
listen,
arguments as them.
No. Listen,
Mhm.
you refuse to accept that British people can be black, that British people can be Asian, that they can have different skin colors. You reject that. That means you isolate a huge percentage of this country with that ideology. And in such
That's
a
the point.
divisive time, when these different groups are happening and black people and white people are battling with each other because of the BLM things, and everyone's identifying as this and identifying as that. And there's so
Yeah,
much
because that's
division in
natural.
this country.
Because that's how
There's
they
so
do
much division
identify.
in this country. You want to create more division, and that's why I say that you're dangerous. You are dangerous to the people of Britain. The whole ideology you're presenting, it lines up with the same Adolf Hitler
Oh,
and
here we
Nazi
go.
that
Here we
your
go.
guy, Mark Collette, has admitted that he loves.
You have
And
no
I mean,
arguments.
you can
so
try and laugh
you
it
have
off
no
because I know
arguments, so you just call people
you've
Nazis.
been made. No.
Does Britain have a constitution? Not really. It has the Magna Carta, which was kind of like an influence for the American Constitution, but it's not. I forget how to kind of describe it. It's kind of like it does enshrine certain kind of like quote unquote rights, but it's not really in the way in which it allows like the Constitution of the United States to be the be all end all. So we're kind of in a bit of a free fall, because without the Constitution we don't really have anything to fall back on. It's kind of like even people who are not religious, without any kind of religious morality, it kind of like opens up the gates that anything is permitted. It's the same thing with, having no real constitution. Anything can be permitted. The Britain that existed 100 years ago, that can just be thrown down the drain, which is exactly what we're currently seeing. Speaking of which, I saw something the other day where like Australia, the city of Canberra. Do you know what the city of Canberra was initially going to potentially be? It was literally going to be called Aryan City, but they thought, we'll just call it something else. Because when Australia was created, it was the white Australian policy. So they literally had Aryan City. Oh man, that just would have been so based. Engines disabled. So what am I doing next here? Climb the ladder to the upper deck. Okay.
It's
No,
not.
Ricky, it's
I
pathetic.
never called anyone a Nazi.
You
I
are.
never called anyone a Nazi.
It's honestly,
I've
I
not
don't know
called
what the
anyone
point
a
of this
Nazi.
conversation is. I can only hope that your audience are listening to this and they've heard you say that British people don't exist, that it doesn't matter if
I
they
never
become
said
a
that.
minority in their
You're
own
being
country. And they've heard
disingenuous.
you call me a
You're being
Nazi, far-right,
disingenuous.
racist,
Right, yeah, I got a
etc.
second. Yeah, I got a second. Rick. What you need to clear up here, Laura, is when you were saying British people, in your view, it's white British people.
It's ethnically British people. Yeah.
Okay, if we say that I got a second. If we say what you're saying is white British people, right? That clears up a lot, and then Ricky can say, "I believe that the British people are people who believe they're British, who are legally British, or that kind of thing." Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when we're on that, you know exactly where you are here. All right. So yours, white British. Yours is mixed British, but British. Correct.
Well, I identify as Chinese now, so I want to be called Chinese, because you just have to say that you identify it and that makes it true, apparently.
Then go back to China.
Twat.
You like to call him a fucking twat? Did you hear that? Did he think what he said there was like a win? For the rest of the stream, I identify as Jewish. So just bear that in mind. So no risky comments in the chat.
Sorry.
Oh,
Oh, what happened?
I took him out.
Why did you take him out?
He wants to call me a twat when he's supposed to be the moderator.
He was laughing
So-
at what you said.
It's just me and you now.
He was laughing at what you said.
It's just
Oh, he kicked him out. What a fucking fanny. Well, let's listen to that bit again.
It's because you just have to say that you identify it, and that makes it true, apparently.
Then go back to China.
Twat. Sorry.
Oh,
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, what happened?
I took him out.
Why did you take him out?
He wants to call me a twat when he's supposed to be the moderator.
He was laughing
So-
at what you said.
It's just me and you now.
He was laughing at what you said.
It's just me and you. So look, point 2 and 3 in your manifesto talks about exempting those who share cultural, ethnic backgrounds.
I got a few more minutes to this. I think what we can maybe watch afterwards is the young Nazi and proud, the Mark Collette thing, because I might do a full video on this. I don't know if this will blast me with copyright though. That's the issue. That's what I'm fearful of. It plays Tubular Bells though as well. That's a bit annoying. So I have a think. If anyone has any sort of video recommendations, we can like jump into that actually. If you can't send links in the chat, do I need to enable that? If not, just maybe type out the name of the video, and I will judge you very strongly on what you recommend.
And allowing migration of such people. So how do you define them people?
Actually, Ricky, I don't want to continue speaking to you without a moderator. I thought that was very rude. He was actually laughing at your joke, and you just kicked him out, and he's given up his free time to talk to you.
What was
So
rude?
either you allow Simon back in, or I don't want to talk to you.
Was rude calling me.
He was laughing.
Metacurve versus Destiny, that could be quite good because I haven't watched much of Jim at all. I know a lot of people like him, but he was something that kind of like passed me by in a way. So I'm not too familiar with him, but I know people quite like him, and I think he's quite cool in general. Against Destiny, that could be quite interesting. Metacurve, Ethan Ralph. Ethan Ralph is like he must have he's descended into a lolca. I remember there was like this video clip. Oh, I'm at the start of the fucking mission here. Hold on, did I do a save state? Where am I? I'm in the last fucking mission. Ah, we fucked up, guys. Let's just let's exit and go back in. Yeah, as I was saying, this Ethan and Ralph clip, I don't know what the gist was, but he was like wasted. He was literally like in front of the camera, let's going like row, 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 row. It was insane. My mate was showing me that, and I was like, I hadn't seen any clips of Ethan and Ralph in so long, and he showed me that, and I thought that guy needs some serious help. It wasn't even like in funny ways. Kind of people like look at kind of when Joe Biden was like slipping up in conversation. I don't know about you guys, but it was funny for a bit, but I kind of felt it was quite sad. Joe Biden losing his brain, literally falling out of his ears. That was sad. He was just not there. You almost couldn't blame him for being like, people were like, did you see what Biden did? Biden didn't do anything. Biden's just been wheeled around. And it's a shame. Next mission. Do I have like a load? Fuck it, maybe just start from the beginning. So let's have a quick nosy then. So let's see. The Metacurve Destiny one could be quite interesting. Metacurve Ethan Ralph. Yeah, okay, we'll do it. Yeah, we'll do a poll. Let me see if I can do a poll. Engage with audience. Start poll. So we have how do you spell Metacurve? Metacurve versus Destiny. Let's put on some never mind actually. Metacurve. What's the other one? Metacurve versus what? Versus Fuentes. And then what was the other one somebody said? Yeah, we'll stick on these ones then. Let's do it. Metica Fuentes seems to be the winner, not by much though, but this one. Two hours. Who the fuck's this guy?
You guys at home, let me put off the Joker filter. You able to hear me?
I think I saw a clip of this actually. Is this the one where he like ridicules Jim for like having cancer?
All right, am I coming in clear for you, Mike?
Yeah, it sounds like you're good. Just let me. I gotta get you guys on screen. Let me set this up real quick. So how you guys doing as I set this up?
Doing good.
Doing good. How are you doing, King?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little stressed.
2022.
Big.
I was back with the mustache look. I've never considered like I don't know about you, because I've kind of go for the kind of like goatee, kind of like sideys, but kind of shave the neck, kind of a bit of a mustache. I don't know. I think because the way I think to have like the hair here gives your jaw a bit more you know, it kind of like defines your jaw a bit more. Because I've always wanted to try just the full mustache look, but I don't know if I could pull that off. Also, I've not had a haircut since quitting my job. I've not actually had a haircut. It's like the go-to thing to do. You quit your job, and then you don't get a haircut for like 2 months. I used to get a haircut maybe like once every like, it was literally every 3 weeks. But now I am just letting it kind of go a little bit, get a bit of a fringe. You know what I mean? Rather than asking what my girlfriend thinks, I think the opinion of Telegram chuds for looks maxing is the go-to strategy of how to present yourself in life. Don't ask your family, friends, or your girlfriend. Ask Telegram chuds, because they know exactly. They know what's up, right?
Going on, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be hosting the Kino content. So, you know, I was watching Augie's stream today, and he described this perfectly. So basically, Flamenco jerked off to Prolapse Anus 10 years ago, and now you guys are gonna have a fight for our entertainment.
What?
So
Sounds about right.
That's about right. Yeah, it's a sequence of events. Yes.
So I guess we should start with Nick. So do you want to give us your opinion?
So quiet. Let's blast this up a little bit. Let me know what the audios are like. Oh yeah, I turned it down because the Silent Hill music was too loud.
Full analysis of the DMCA. I guess we're just gonna get right into it. I'm assuming that's all you guys want to talk about.
No, there's a few things. I think there's a few separate areas.
All right. So, but do you want to start with DMCA?
Yes, we could start with that. Yeah, so, you know, there's...
How's that?
Who's got the echo, by the way? I think someone's echoing a little bit.
I'm not echo. I don't hear any echo.
Okay, maybe it's me. Anyway, so this all started on Easter Sunday. There's this beef going on between Flamenco and Ethan Ralph, and I jump in.
Who the fuck is Flamenco? Who are these people? Let me turn up the on Odyssey here. Not Odyssey, the OBS.
And, you know, Medicare knows the lore on this. I don't really know the lore. I don't know the long history of Ethan Ralph. Apparently he's very sordid. But I come into the stream and I'm like, okay, so what exactly is the beef going on here between Flamenco and Ethan Ralph? And, you know, Flamenco's like, well, he DMCA'd my stream. And I said, yes, so what? That's fair game. And I think ultimately that's really what this is about. And then, like I said, the other areas are, then I said that I report people, which is true, and I do, mostly on Twitter, though. I'll just say that, mostly on Twitter. And I also said that Medicare is aloof and smug and acts like he's above it all, and I think that he's not above it all at all, actually. So those are the other areas. But yeah, so that, I mean, that's my position. And then Medicare was like, oh, Nick said this, and then with the usual Kiwi Farm stuff, and yeah, so that's where we are. So I'm just sort of curious. I want to know what Medicare's position on this. I want to hear his.
Let's hear it.
It could be funny or not funny, whatever you like. But I'm just curious what the beef is.
What the beef is?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're a histrionic cunt.
Okay.
That's not a good way to start a debate. You know, just like calling somebody a cunt right off the bat. I know people would like to say that about half the volume. Turn me down. If I turn me down, then this audio
Is that supposed to be funny?
should kind of level out then. That's probably a bit better. Yeah, it's not a good way to start a debate, I think. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, I mean, you are the arbiter of humor, seething behind a block button and banning shit that makes you upset.
I'm not. Do I seem upset?
You seem pretty pissed off for the last week. I mean,
don't think
let
so.
me
Did you watch
read
my stream? Did you watch my stream last night?
Let me read some of your words, King.
Okay.
Malicious, life-ruining scum that will dox you, swat you, report you, deplatform you, spread
Real.
lies and gossip,
Real.
retaliate in any way. Seems a little ass mad.
No, I think that's just true. Don't you think that's true?
I didn't know getting laughed at on the fucking internet was malicious, life-ruining things.
Swatting, laughing.
Who's swatting you, Nick?
Oh, we're about to find out very soon. Actually, would you
Oh, awesome.
would you bet your life? Would you bet your life that it's not somebody who is on a website of one of your associates? Would you bet? Well, I would say bet your life. I would say bet your life because that's not a lot to bet.
One of my associates. Which associate? Who do I associate with, Nick?
Oh, you associate with lots of people. But would you? I mean, how much would you bet that it's not somebody that you know and their website? How much would you bet? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know. I mean, you are the millionaire. I don't think I can match you.
True. All right. Wait. Well, don't you have a trust fund, right, or something like that?
Well, no. I mean, I remember you telling Louis Theroux that you're a millionaire, which is weird because you always bitch about being debanked. So I don't understand that. I guess.
Well, my money's not in the bank. So.
Oh, so where do the stream chats go?
Stream chats? Well, I actually do have a bank account.
Oh, you do?
Most of my money's in crypto.
Okay, so you can get money through a bank account.
Well, yeah, but I'm banned from Bank of America.
I know.
I'm banned from US Bank.
Yeah, I do hear people say that about Nick, because he does have a bank account. But he's still, if my bank says we don't want to do business with you, technically I have been debanked. But I could go to another bank. Same thing with like Mark Collette. Mark Collette has to go to very kind of niche banks because nobody wants his business. But he still has a bank account. Does that mean Mark Collette has not been debanked? So I don't know if that's like, again, I'm trying to be a bit more, I'm trying to be balanced here, but
you do have a bank.
Yeah, I have a bank.
Nick, did you ever get
you always.
I what?
I was gonna ask.
Well, yeah, I mean,
$500K.
if the joke is like I'm a millionaire, yes, my net worth is north of $1 million.
What about the 500K? Did you ever get that back, or is that just gone?
No, I don't want to comment on ongoing legal matter, but I've made at least that much since it was taken. I'll just say that.
Okay, because it's weird. Because
that's what you're going with.
Well, yeah, because you present yourself as this Mexican martyr. Oh my God, woe is me.
I am Mexican.
But you seem to be making money just fine.
Well, I mean, yeah, I would like to have the money that the FBI took from me. Yeah, I mean, am I not supposed to want that back? But the difference, here's what's funny about this, which I pointed out the other day. What's funny about this is when things happen to me, I basically just take it in stride.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
you admitted on stream that you get ass mad and then you go after people.
Oh, really? Clip?
It's on my fucking timeline. You've commented on it.
Well, why don't you watch the clip when I got swatted? When I got swatted, did I come back on my show and go, this crossed a line? I mean, I was just making jokes on the internet. I said, oh, well, yeah.
Well, how does a guy bitch and whine about being deplatformed? How does a guy bitch and whine about being deplatformed? Oh, poor martyr me. And then he's like, I'm going to take down people laughing at me on the internet.
But that's the
difference.
Kind of
seems faggy to me.
That's the difference, because I didn't come on the stream like telling people, hey, you should take my side and feel bad for me. I mean, I go on my show and say, yeah, like, this is what's up. It's not right, but it is what it is. I stepped in the arena and I pay the price. And it seems like, and that's your issue, you and these other people.
You mean like most Flamenco. People on the internet when somebody passes out?
No, I mean like Flamenco. Like Flamenco's going to go on a show and he's going to call Ralph a rapist and send people to his event to sabotage.
So when he's sabotage his event,
yeah,
that sounds familiar.
I don't know about you guys, but it's probably not good for me. But see, like, shitty e-celeb drama, I just fucking love that shit so much sometimes. And I love it when it bubbles up to... I mean, people have made businesses off of when drama heats up. Like a Keemstar. Like, Keemstar has managed to make a business out of being a relatively not good person. But then he creates that lolcow live YouTube thingy, where it almost makes him seem like a normal person. Maybe that's the whole point of it.
God, I wonder who else did something like that.
That's what he did. I don't know what you're referring to. but
Charlie Kirk, you don't remember that?
That's a little different, though,
Oh,
right?
how's it different?
It's different because, well, I mean, we could talk about Charlie Kirk, but let's stick with Flamenco.
How's it different?
Well, the difference is we're not crying about what Charlie Kirk does to us. We're not going around saying, Charlie Kirk crossed the line. That's the difference.
But you're saying Flamenco did.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
So Flamenco crossed the line by sending somebody, but not you when you were going to
We're talking about what's fair. We're talking about what's fair. If
what
Flamenco,
the fuck do you mean what's fair?
Because you're going out there and you're saying that DMCAing is like crossing a line or something, right? Is that not your position?
I said that if you're going to be a whiny little cunt and say, "Oh, if people make fun of me on the internet, that's I'm going to flag them down. I'm going to get them banned wherever I can. We're at war."
But that's not what we said.
That's exactly what you said.
Exactly. Actually, it's not.
Nearly verbatim what you said.
Not quite. Not quite.
It's literally on my timeline.
What happened there?
So let's return to the original point here, which is the DMCA between Ralph and Flamenco, right?
Sure, we can talk about that.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, so I enter into the equation, and then we could get into, because I said there's 3 areas here, right? I said there's the DMCA, Ralph and Flamenco. There's me and my reports, which we could get into that, and then there's also the you and your attitude. I'm so above it all.
Okay,
yeah. You're. I think you're the biggest faggot on the internet, honestly.
Well,
I think
right back at you.
Yeah, I know. I know. But I think your whole like all nihilistic, like Gen X. Yeah, I know.
Here we go with the youth movement shit. Nick, when I first talked to you, it was 5 years ago when you were 19. You're 23, 24 now. Well, how long are you going to go with this riff?
Get it all out.
I'm the young Zoomer. I mean, that's not going to really be...
So someone says, I need to escape the submarine. It's like, I know that, bro. I'm not trying to chill in the submarine. I'm just being retarded. I'm just getting my ass handed to me. I don't want to be in a submarine. If you were to kind of like tell me as well, in real life, pick your least favorite area of deployment. You have to go and join some of the armed forces. My least favorite would likely be submarine. It just seems... I mean, I'm not claustrophobic, but I feel like being in a submarine would make me claustrophobic. I don't know about you guys, but I would not do well in this environment. I'm 6'4". I would not be able to walk around this environment very, very comfortably. I'm not sure about you guys.
Very marketable in another 2-3 years, is it?
I'll still be a Zoomer. Do you know how that works?
You're going to be older, and then generation.
Wait, but I'll still be a Zoomer. Do you think I'll stop being a Zoomer when I'm 30? I'll still be a Zoomer.
I think you're going to sound retarded saying the same shit when you're 30.
Okay.
I mean, you're like, oh, Gen X and millennials, I hate them. As you literally surround yourself with
I'll
fucking
still
Gen
hate
X
Gen
and
X.
millennials.
I'll still hate Gen X.
Beardson, Baked, and Ethan are all in their mid-30s. What the fuck?
And I hate him for it. And I hate him for it. And they know that. They know I hate them for that. Absolutely. But anyway, so
yeah, see the way Nick's like talking there, it's kind of like everything's kind of like ironic and quite funny. But I think because Metaker, again, I'm not sure about what's building up to this debate. It seems like he's not willing to have that kind of level of banter, so it just makes him seem even more bitter in this debate. That's the initial impression I'm kind of getting. Well, Nick's just kind of like playing around. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
But that's the final point, Metaker, is that I think that your whole like aloof routine where you say like I just like to keck on the internet, like I think that's cringe. But
is that cringe? I'm being...
Oh no, what's going on? I set the charge. Is there a guy behind me? Is that what happens? Oh yeah, this fucking guy comes out of nowhere. I'm getting blasted by him. I see. Never mind.
I'm told I'm cringed by a dude that does fucking live streams of him building Star Wars Lego kits. What the fuck are you on about?
Yes, you are being called by that guy. You are being called cringe by that guy. Because I went on your whole Twitter timeline yesterday. Like, I'll give you a perfect example.
Not my Twitter timeline. Sure, go ahead, give me an example.
Okay. Oh boy, man, this is good stuff. So, like, this is a perfect example. So, you and Ralph are going back and forth. I went over the whole thread. And so you're talking shit about each other, and he's saying, you're saying like, oh, you're fat, and he's saying like, I'll fuck your wife on stream, whatever. And then you quote tweet his tweet, and you say this. You say, he called you childless. And you say, it truly is heartbreaking that I'm childless. If only I had a son, I'd hug him every day, because that way he'd know I'd love him. I couldn't imagine not doing so.
Yeah,
and like,
what I said.
Yeah, I read that, and like, is Do you think that's funny? Like, is that supposed to be a
That's
joke?
fucking great. Yeah, because that's a shot right at his ass for, you know, being a terrible dad.
Yeah, and see, and that's where we're getting to. It's like your whole mission, you pretend like you're all the way over here pointing and laughing, but what you're really saying is like, you're a bad person. You should know you're a bad person. Everyone thinks you're a bad person.
Oh my god, did I make fun of Ralph in his fatherhood position as he rambles on about literally anybody's family he wants to? He called your sister a nigger-loving dyke.
Yeah, I know.
Damn it.
And I'm not.
She's a race man.
I have to archive this instead.
Right? And a lesbian?
No,
that's what he said.
Things are true. Yeah, I know. And me and Ralph squashed that a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, but you're getting away from the point. You're trying to like. This is what you do. You
what do I
barrage
do,
with
Nick?
these.
What
You
do I
barrage
do,
with these like cheap
I'm gonna let it run. I need to jump to the loo anyways.
shots. These like these are all
How are
very
these
cheap.
cheap?
Because these like have nothing to do with the point, and these are things everyone's heard a million times before, and it's just like the
they've
first
heard it
thing.
a million times.
It's like
yeah.
the first thing that you can get, and you take the first thing you can get and go, and then I'm supposed to be like,
should I just say
oh my
wash
God, oh my
80
God.
times in a row? Wash, cringe. I mean, that's
Yeah.
your shtick, right?
No, not really. My shtick is ending your career right now.
Oh, God,
and anyway,
that's
so
terrible.
this tweet, I know it is. It's gonna be terrible for
I'm
you.
so ended.
You
Little
are.
Nickers,
You
Little
are.
Nickers is coming
You
to get
are.
me.
Our Little Knickers, is that?
Yeah, Little Nickers is coming to get me.
And there it is. And there it is. Little Knickers. Yeah, boomers call me that on Gab, and they think it's hilarious. Like old people on Gab call me Nikki, and they think it's like the funniest thing in the world. Anyway, and you could call Ralph like a pig or whatever, and it's like the stuff that's just very like lowbrow. This is like, so here's the thing.
It's not at the level that Nick Fuentes likes.
That's true. You usually go into these
How would
streams.
you know what good humor is if you're banning
Because
and blocking and flagging
funnier
it,
than
faggot?
you. Because I'm funnier than you. See, you're getting mad now. I'm funnier
how
than
am I
you.
getting
That's
mad?
how I'm going to arvit it. And here, like you.
Bacon Quagga, who's Metaker? From my understanding, again, maybe you and I in the same kind of boat. He's kind of like an OG, kind of like right-wing-ish guy, libertarian-esque, kind of like would make videos, kind of like video essays on people. People think he's the GOAT, but he was just someone, not that I avoided on purpose, just never quite, found myself watching his content. So, but people in our sphere seem to really, really like him. And from my understanding, he has cancer. I think he's got cancer at this point, and I think he's still alive, but what I hear is it's it's not looking so good.
You go into these streams and you're the smartest guy in the room, but you're in a room full of dumb people.
That's what I am right now, Nick. I'm the smartest guy in the room.
See, cheap shot. Yeah, it's just low hanging.
First thing I thought of. If I wanted to go with a cheap shot, I talk about your gay 70s porn stash.
70s porn stash.
Gay
laugh
70s
track,
porn
laugh,
stash.
Oh, laugh track, mustache.
I don't know why you don't come out of the fucking closet, Nick.
Laugh track. Funny,
all the catboy shit, the looks. Your hands. You have this very effeminate, swishy thing you do with your hands, where you wave them around. It's like a mating.
Like this.
Yeah, you do that.
This is me slapping you. This is me slapping you around.
No, that's a mating call. That's a mating call for queers.
That's funny.
That's a little bit of tranny Tourette's.
Slapping you across
that's
the
you out in public, basically
this is me
putting a
slapping
mating
you across
code.
the face and saying you're not funny. You're not funny. You're not funny. And anyway, but the point I was trying to get at with that tweet is
you had a point. Okay.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It's like the point I was trying to talk about with this tweet is like that.
Hold on, what I'll do is duration. I'll just double check how long the stream's going on for. Where are we now? Okay, just so I can cut that little bit out. That's easy enough to trim.
Tweet is a good example of what you're really about, which is you're not the guy that's laughing over here. You're a guy that cares deeply about saying that Ralph is a bad person.
This is the weirdest fucking psychoanalysis over a tweet. You sound like a fucking retard, right?
I think you sound like a retard. I think you sound like a retard.
Let me psycho.
Yes, I love it when internet debate blood sports. It's just, you sound like a retard. No, you are the retard. That is just brilliant. What are you doing? So the dog's making sounds.
You
analyze your tweet.
That. Yeah, I am. I am going to psychoanalyze you.
Oh my God,
I am going to
so
psychoanalyze
deep.
you.
Oh, okay.
It is deep. See, this is what we're calling deflecting. And
this
you
is
get
me
there
mocking you because you're a fucking retard.
No, these.
Well, got him again. He got him again.
A bitch that flags shit down that makes fun of you. You get
and I laugh at. I flag shit down and then I laugh. And I laugh at how mad that makes you, Jim. I laugh. When you go on Twitter and say, America First is a mess, you're a mess, this is pathetic, I fucking die laughing. Not die like you literally. Pathetic. I die laughing.
Nick, because
of how mad that makes
pathetic.
you. I don't think so. I think I'm a millionaire.
I think
and I think you're a
see,
bitch.
There we go. I love how arrogant you get about it.
I know. I love how arrogant I am too.
A small amount of power because you have a minor streaming platform?
No, because I'm a cool genius.
That's the funniest thing you said tonight.
Yeah, I know.
Jim,
Anyway.
why do you think Nick's gay?
Are you fucking kidding me?
I want to hear your answer.
Oh, okay. Let's start with the physical features. He presents himself as very gay. He has a look that's very gay. That mustache, that's a very gay mustache. The hand thing, very flamboyant. He's got this thing where he does with his neck where it kind of pivots back and forth. Like you think maybe if the internet career didn't really work out for him, he could become like a fucking metronome or something. It's that kind of head bob that a cocksucker would have. Then you've got all the Catboy Cammy shit, the Lolly Socks date, Jaden and his rumper dumper.
Yeah, I've never really thought Nick is gay. I've always thought he's just very eccentric, which can come across as quite camp. However, the only thing in the history of Nick Fuentes that I know that to me is questionable is the Catboy Cammy thing. That makes me think like that's just like of all the people to do like a live stream with IRL. It's just like that felt pretty strange to me. That was kind of strange. Undeniably quite strange.
So, I mean, there's a lot of shit out there. There's a lot of gay stuff around Nick that just makes me think he should just come out of the fucking closet. I mean, it's fine to be gay. There's nothing wrong with it, but I don't know why you're so scared to admit it.
That's great. That's great. See, like I was actually disappointed because you have this reputation of being like the internet aristocrat and like, oh, you can't fuck with him. And everything that I just heard is like, again, this is like appealing to the lowest common denominator. You like basically went on Kiwi Farms and scooped like the worst insults that have been around, by the way, for like 4 years. And then you think that if you like say them all next to each other, that constitutes like some kind of talent or something. And I'm here to tell you, like, that's not a talent. Like you're not as funny as you think.
Am I breaking up here or is Nick?
No, he's sounding fine on my end.
Okay.
Yeah, you are breaking up. You're breaking up. You're cracking up because I see right through you. I don't think you're that funny. I don't think you're a good content creator. And the other thing is, I think that once again, you have this facade of like being the guy that's like, oh, I just like these laughs or something. But when I read a tweet like I just read, it's like this concern trolling. Like you're the biggest, ironically, for a nihilist, you're like the biggest concern trolling.
What the
moral
fuck
fag
are you
on the
talking
internet.
about?
I
You
like the
literally
tweet I
got on
just read.
stream and cried. You got on stream and cried talking about toxicity and how you guys are real human beings.
We are real human beings. Yeah, unlike you. I'm an authentic, real human being.
It's so toxic. These drama streamers, they're so toxic. It's so malicious. You sound like a fucking fag.
Okay.
What internet have you been on up until now, Nick?
I'm on the internet where we're reporting you, and then you're crying about it. I mean, if it's so ironic
you're
because
reporting because you can't
talk
take
about
banter.
us doing that.
You're
No, I'm
literally
reporting
can't
it because
handle
it's
banter.
funny. No, I can handle it.
I'm open to the debate about him being gay, but he's not done anything. He's not, been in a gay relationship. He's yet to be exposed. So it's kind of like that's very much a grey area. However, I do not think he's a fed. I think that's kind of... Because what would that imply? That, if you consider Nick's life, has that been like orchestrated by the federal government? And what's the end game? To make people more aware of Zionism and other things like that. I'm not really sure what the Fed endgame is to push Nick Fuentes to be the biggest political streamer currently as it stands. The Fed accusation comes from an influencer campaign. Yeah, because the same people who kind of made the Fed accusation are his political enemies. It's just being hijacked by people who simply don't like him. And again, I get why people don't like him. I mean, but again, I suppose with any political commentator online, people kind of like, I guess, get this kind of what's the expression? A parasocial relationship with them. So you have people who will defend somebody regardless of what they do, and you'll have people who will hate them regardless of what they do. If they do something good, well, it's because of a bad reason and things like that. And again, people have mentioned it in the chat before. You don't need to agree with everybody. There's lots of people who I, quite like, or kind of like, I'll listen to what they have to say because they have an interesting point of view. Even people like Richard Spencer, who's this ultimate annoying contrarian these days, at least he has like original thoughts that are quite interesting to kind of like sometimes look at from time to time. But am I, reading everything he says? Am I listening to everything he says? Am I trying to counter troll people who talk about him? Nah, I don't really care because he's just another guy who has his own opinion. And I'll probably be in the same kind of boat. I mean, my videos are in essence political propaganda. So why would I expect everyone to agree with everything that I have to say? You can still like the videos, disagree with maybe half of what I have to say, but still come away by thinking, yeah, I quite like that old Sterling. He sometimes says something that isn't that retarded. You know what I mean? I can send you a mountain of evidence that he's controlled opposition. Just give me your email. You can maybe lore dump that in the Telegram if you want. My email is on the like my throwaway email I use for YouTube is in my bio, I think. But please flood the Telegram, don't flood my email with schizophrenic theories. Not to say your theories are schizophrenic. I have had people email me with like really insane shit already. I don't know why people think I want to see that sometimes. Like unprompted. They'll be like, listen here, and they'll like give me, you would not believe it. I mean, I'm a tiny YouTuber. I can't imagine what other people need to do. I need to find a way to filter this out. On the assumption my channel gets bigger. Because the bigger the channel gets, the more schizos. You should read some of the comments I get that are currently held. The comments aren't even published. And it is wild, some of the shit people say. Unrelated to the video, they'll just lore dump their favorite schizo theory. Use pretty insane language, which forces me to remove the comment. And it's just an endless cycle. I'm going to get shot here and die again. This is bad.
I'm right here taking it all day long here.
You could say that, but talk shit about you.
Oh yeah, right. Okay. I mean, I'm right here. You just said
I hate 4chan. I hate Kiwi Farms. I hate ad. Fuck Twitter. Fuck YouTubers. You just want your little hug box with your little fucking yes.
Hug box. Catchphrase. Hug box. Hug box.
Cringe. Catchphrase.
See, I'm not. See, now you're just.
You said it for the last week, like a
juvenile stuff. Yeah, your content is bad, dude. I'm not just saying cringe.
So is yours.
I'm psycho.
What does Metaker? Let's check Metaker's channel because I'm genuinely kind of curious. Mr. Metaker. Remember this video? This was great. That FBI report about Pizzagate and stuff. Mr. Metaker. You still got a channel. Here we go. He's still posting. 10 days ago. Still alive. This isn't his channel, is it? He's like purged it 6 years ago. What's going on here? Nuked channel. That's a shame. Not even any links to like other like Rumble or Odyssey where he's put stuff. He's streaming. But where is he streaming? Anyways.
Go analyze it.
That is annoying. It was an ad revenue beef with YouTube. I see, right. It's got a few members. How many members has he got? Can I see that? Anyways. We'll watch a bit more of this. We'll see if it leads to anything impressive. Otherwise, we'll probably find another one just to kind of like to wrap up on. because I'm not sure we're not making much progress in this debate. I'm not sure what they just kind of keep on going at one another until they both get annoyed, until this guy hosting gets enough donations to call it a day. I'm not so sure.
It was
I'm
good.
breaking down.
You would
Dude,
have
you're
more
sounding
than
bad right
6,000
now.
watching.
You sound
If you
mad
had
right
good
now.
content, Nick, if you had good
You
content,
sound like you're
you'd have
getting
more
kind
than
of pressed
6,000
right now.
people
You're
watching.
kind of getting pressed right now because
Nick, if you
basically
had good
I'm winning
content,
this debate.
you'd have
Medicare,
winning what debate?
Medicare.
What
Like
debate
this tweet
exactly?
you put out against
debate are
Ethan
you-
Ralph is moral fagging. When you go out there and say like,
You
if I had a
literally
kid,
moral fag.
I would hug my
I-
kid because I would be a good father. Like that's just like a moral fagging. There's no punchline. There's no funny.
How does a man
You're
write on
moral
Telegram when you cry like a bitch, malicious life ruining?
But why
scum
won't you
will dox
engage?
SWAT
But why
report
won't you engage with what I'm saying about this tweet? You keep evading to these other things, but why won't you engage? Because I'm saying something very serious here. I'm attacking your credibility.
So you're having difficulty. You're having difficulty understanding the tweet. You want me to provide?
No, I
background for the
understand
tweet?
it. I understand, I think, more than you do. I want to know where the funny is. Tell me why this is not just like a faggoty, passive-aggressive, feminine, like moral fagging tweet saying, you're a bad dad. Like, calling someone a bad dad in itself is just moral fagging. I mean, if there was like a punchline here, that would be different. But you said, it's truly hard. You're right. It's heartbreaking that I'm childless. If only I had a son, I'd hug him every day because that way he'd know I'd love him. I couldn't
I'm
imagine
sorry,
not
my
doing
tweets.
so.
I'm
It's
sorry,
like- it's
my
like the
tweets
most
aren't up to the
snarky-
Nick Fuentes standard.
It's just like the
Could you provide me with one of your tweets so I could
It's just the
compare it?
most snarky. Okay, how about like George Floyd blown to smithereens with a grenade? Like that's like just not caring. That's like
That's funny.
saying random shit. But telling somebody like, I couldn't imagine not hugging my son, like that's not funny. And like that, but that's your whole MO. Your whole MO is like, it's not necessarily being funny, but it's like this, it's a very self-conscious kind of like status conscious thing. You're trying to tell Ralph in this like snarky, passive aggressive way, like you're a bad dad. And so that's really what I'm saying here is you
I'm
take
sorry,
this
Nick.
very aloof.
I need to kick it up a notch. I need to say,
Okay.
little white girls that got killed in the parade, we're just gonna grow up to fuck niggers like you, right?
I never said
Would that
that.
be funnier?
I never said.
Would
See,
that be
now you're
funnier?
just grasping at straws because I never said that.
You went on stream saying, "Oh, what you guys don't think that's funny? It's irony. What the fuck's your problem?"
Well, do you want to read me the quote and tell me what I exactly said?
You were talking about the fucking parade where the black guy drove through it and hit the little white girls, and then somebody had tweeted out about this, and you're like, "Why are you guys getting so mad about it? Who fucking cares? It's funny. It's irony."
It sounds like you, right? Isn't that your thing? Aren't you the jokes
well, no,
guy?
no. I'm saying I want to emulate you. That's fucking hilarious, man.
Do you? Okay.
That little white girls is
be a
fucking
millionaire.
great humor.
You want to emulate me? Be a Zoomer millionaire. Oh wait, you can't because you're
shit.
gonna die. Anyway, wait. But you see what you just did? Like you just keep going like, oh, I know this thing will work. I'll grab this thing. This thing will work. This other thing from Kiwi. Oh, this
Nick,
thing.
you're
Remember when
literally
you
a
said this?
spastic
And
fuck.
it's like, yeah, okay. And
You
so you
want to
just
go to
from
deep
thing to
dive
thing.
analyst. You
go
want to
from
go to
thing
deep
thing.
dive analysis
Yeah.
of a tweet.
Yes. I am going to deep dive analyze you. I'm going to deep dive,
Well,
and that's
hit
what
me
I
with
was
your
saying
next
on
shot.
Sunday.
Hit me with your next shot. I want to see more of this.
Okay.
Psychologist Nick Fuentes, please
Sure,
hit me with the next one.
That's right, MD, psychologist Nick Fuentes, MD, bitch. I think that you have this like aloof, smug attitude because you follow around like Ethan Ralph, and Ethan Ralph has this sordid life, and a lot of fucked up
I
shit going on.
follow around Ethan Ralph. Okay.
Yeah, you live tweet his streams. I went through your Twitter timeline for a week, and every tweet is Ralph said this, Ralph said that, Ralph did this, now Ralph is saying this, now Ralph is that, now Ralph is that, now Ralph is this. Yeah.
A whole week. Oh my god.
like 20
It's
times
almost
a day for
like
a
I'm
week.
Laughing at him and fucking with him. How long did you follow around Charlie
Not
Kirk?
really. Not really.
How long did you follow around Charlie Kirk, Nick?
Like 2 or 3 months or something.
Probably not so much these days.
Yeah. But so anyway, so you follow around a guy like Ralph and you think you're like better than him, is what it comes down to.
Just like you thought you're better than Charlie.
I am better than Charlie Kirk. You follow around Ralph like you're better than him, but if Ethan Ralph is such like this cringe guy, you're the biggest loser of all because it's your job to follow this drama, live tweet the live streams.
Oh, it's not my job. It's my pleasure.
No, it's your job. That's how you make money, right?
It's my pleasure.
Do you have a job?
I make money off a ton of shit,
Like
but
what?
I it's my pleasure.
Like what though? You make money off this though. It's your job.
Well, yeah, I stream about this and other people,
Yeah.
but it's also my
So
pleasure.
and that's just sort of like pathetic and sad. I mean, you could go around calling Ethan Ralph
Signal
pathetic,
Boots
but
sent
you're the guy that
$50 high
follows a
school
pathetic
children.
person
All
for
of
a
this
living.
is
You
AIDS.
gossip about a
should all
pathetic
make
person for a
immediately.
living. And I just think that that means you're just as bad or worse.
Yeah, there's this YouTube channel that is purely about clipping Wings of Redemption, because Wings of Redemption's a huge lol cow. But this channel's dedicated to like watching all of the streams and clipping stuff from him. And I was like thinking, is the guy who spends all his time watching Wings of Redemption and clipping videos to make him look bad, is he just as sad as Wings of Redemption? That's what I was thinking.
Than the people that you follow. That's all I'm saying. I just think like
Okay, so I just want to I want to make sure that I want to make sure I'm following this hot
okay,
logic.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So my one tweet, terrible joke, not up to the Knicker standard.
No, it wasn't a joke. It wasn't. That's my point.
Oh, no, not even a joke. Oh my God, not even a joke. Okay,
yeah,
not even a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
And laughed.
Wings should be smart and do it himself. Again, that's from my brief overview of Wings of Redemption. Anything would be better for him if he did something. But he doesn't do anything. Which is why he's in the state he's in.
Laughing at Ethan Ralph for a week, that's just over the fucking line.
No, I didn't say it was
what
over
would
the
be
line.
the appropriate way? What would be the appropriate way to make fun of Ethan Ralph?
I said it
Nick,
indicates...
give me some examples of what would the appropriate funny haha way of being to make fun of Ralph.
I don't know. You're the expert. I'm a political
You just
guy.
told me. You just told me I'm not funny, and you're the expert of humor. So tell me.
Yeah, but
help me out. Teach me, master.
I will. Thank you. Yeah, you should call me that. Call me master from now on. Okay.
Yeah.
Master
No. Teach me. Show me.
Call me master.
What's a good way?
Wait. Call me master.
What's a good way?
Excuse me, servant. Call me Master Nick from now on. Thank you.
I'm not Jaden. Okay.
Now he's just playing with him.
And another one.
Put your hands up so I can see him.
I'm floundering. Let's grab something. I'm floundering. Let's grab something from Keyword.
Oh, you're grabbing something, all right. You're grabbing something, all right.
Oh, and this is what we came here for. So here's what I'm trying to say. I don't go around gossiping about people for a living. I'm just funny. I have a funny way about.
I'm enjoying this, but this is going on and on and on. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what Metacore's trying to do, so we can watch another Metacore one at another time to maybe we can rekindle for people's love for Metacore, because I want to give him a chance, but he's not came across well. Nick is kind of just in these kind of like blood sport debates. If someone's not really taking it that seriously and then playing into the rage of the opponent, even if that person is, quote unquote wrong, losing, they come across just far, far better. That's my kind of view. Actually, a good Metacore one, actually. Because I've not watched Mr. Metacore, but it was when I... Mr. Metacore... It's when he calls out Boogie when he faked cancer. Which I know is kind of like a bit, because the whole thing of Lolcow Live was to be... to be like wrestling. But Boogie did fake cancer. That's the bottom line is Boogie2988 faked having cancer. I must have watched this ages ago. Old Jim. I don't know if this is the one. Is this it?
I don't know.
Metacore says he's back.
Oh shit. Hold on a sec.
Stage says he needs.
Yeah, he's backstage.
Here we go.
Can you hear me?
Hey Jim, what's up? Jim?
Okay. So what's going on? I got a DM from Keemstar telling me to check out a clip from Destiny, and then I watched the Destiny clip, and it's saying that that Boogie's faking his cancer.
Yep, that seems to be the narrative.
Okay, so why don't you walk me through why Destiny believes you're faking the cancer?
He doesn't know the difference between polycythemia vera and secondary polycythemia, and he.
Here, let's do a poll. I want to see who's. I don't know how do I get rid of the previous one. End poll. Close. We're gonna compare lol cows, Boogie, or Wings of Redemption. Who is the best lol cow? Quite a few votes for Boogie already.
he thinks that I've gotten confused between the two, and that somehow I'm so stupid as to. I think that's the. Am I missing something there?
You're missing a big portion.
What am I
Jim,
missing?
what he's missing is to disprove Destiny's whole claims, and because Destiny made a solid case he didn't have polycythemia vera. All he has to do is show that a diagnosis from a doctor from his patient portal that he has polycythemia vera.
And I'm looking at it right now. And
he refuses to do it.
And Jim, here's my ongoing theory. I think he was diagnosed with this disease or whatever, the non-cancer type, and he rushed to the internet, which he already confirmed. As soon as he was told he had this, he ran and made a video, and then found out it's the non-cancer one after he already told the internet he had cancer. Because that's what Destiny really hit him on. That Boogie has a certain disease that's not cancer. Now, there's a similar name one that is. And Boogie, all he has to do is prove it. He's got the paperwork right in front of him. All he has to do is show the internet that he actually does have this, and he refuses to do it.
Well, and here's the thing, because I did a stream, because I had people saying, "Oh, you're faking cancer, Jim." So I showed my diagnoses and stuff like that. I'm going to guess he's working on a system similar to Epic, which most medical people do. You should be able to go right into diagnoses, and it's going to list everything that a doctor has ever said you had.
Yep, I just read it to him.
Okay, and so it lists the cancer there?
Yes.
Okay, so you could screen cap that and just show it. I mean, that's what I did, and then that would be the end of it.
Absolutely. And I made the decision 2 years ago that I would not do that, and I would rather leave the internet than to give the last shred of fucking privacy I have left.
Well, no, and here's the thing. I understand the privacy argument.
Boogie.
I should have never went public with it.
No.
Yeah, what was that? Just while I'm on my mind, what was that channel that was like Banquet something? Banquet? Wings? Banquet? No, I thought it was Wings of Redemption. Wings of Redemption. Banquet. Breaking Banquet, that's right. You guys seen the video of is it Wings of Redemption? He pushes his wife down. Hold on, this is absolutely goated, like, gay, worthless internet drama of all time. If anyone's not seen this, I mean, pro wrestling could not write a better storyline than this.
Are you serious?
Let's see if I can maybe find, like, So I think he has a fight, but yeah, I'll just go to the bits that are like most viewed. So he has a fight with Keemstar. Look at the fucking size of that guy. That is grotesque.
It's a setup. That's not a setup.
And
It's
why,
a fucking lie.
and why are you getting loud in my face?
Because I fucking can. Dude, are you
I just love how Keemstar made this show to make him seem like the normal person.
Are you fucking serious? You better stop.
Oh my lord.
You better stop.
It's frozen. It's oh yeah. God, look at these people. They done like a fat person stream. This guy is grotesquely obese. But compared to this guy, it almost makes him look like a normal human being. You know, people talk about like what's the expression when you see like guys with like good bodies and you're kind of, it's like physique inflation. You know, like a normal physique is like weak and pathetic compared to people who are like on roids and stuff. It's the same thing with like fat people, but it's like the inverse, where people who are like this size probably see themselves as like average compared to this thing. But average is not the same as normal. That's what people forget. I'm average weight. But if the majority of people are overweight, being average is still grotesquely overweight. Let's skip in a little bit. This is cinema here, guys. This is fucking cinema.
He goes, I'm not bitch made. You think I'm
Gaga super chatted $19.99. McJugger Nuggets really killed it on this one.
Oh my lord. We have to go back there. Oh. Look at his sweat. I mean, what? Look at, see if you just like look at Wings' face. It's like pure adrenaline going through all of his body, and bear in mind there's a lot of body for that adrenaline to go through. So if you just look at his face, it's kind of like, he kind of looks like he has a head rush. I mean, if you were to like lay on the floor and stand up really quickly, his face, he just looks like all the colors drained. He doesn't know where he's looking. He looks fucking lost. Look at his face. That's a man who has no idea where the fuck he is. Wings won. Yeah, definitely. This is the face of a man who's winning at life. Again, it's funny how like the dynamics of this, where Boogie looks like the reasonable, well-grounded one. They're overreacting. Yeah, again, again, this is lolcow live. This is like played up bullshit. But I don't think again, maybe like in wrestling, where there's like, you'll do a spot, I'll like choke slam you off the steel cage, I'll rip over the turnbuckle off, throw you into that. But in between, there's going to be little things they'll maybe like do off the cuff. But I don't think this was planned. Yeah, that's fucking... When I did like Taekwondo, we used to wear like helmets, but the part of the helmet that was most protected was like the back. And it wasn't because you're going to get kicked in the back of the head, it was in case you like fell down and your head smacks against the wooden floor. There's a bit of like give. That's just peak cinema. That is good. Oh my god, guys. On the topic of like old school debates. Holy shit.
You will be overrun by a tyrannical regime, either from somewhere else.
Yeah,
or
highway
from your own government.
checkpoints. Look at Mexico. Total gun ban for the citizens. Highest crime rate in the world.
Look at Alex Jones. Look at how he looks back then. He almost looks like a totally different human being now. I know he's like lost weight, but he looks like a different person. Did Taekwondo? Yeah, I got like my black. I didn't get a black belt. I got like the black stripe. The only reason why I didn't was because I went to university that year, and I got a black belt in drinking and smoking instead. And I never went back to Taekwondo, but I picked up like there's like a Muay Thai boxing place near me that I did for a while. But then I got like injured. Some guy like kicked me in the shoulder. It was like kind of hard, but I think it tore me like my rotator cuff. I'm not gonna show off shoulders here, but like this shoulder looks different. It's as if I'm like almost like part of the muscle's been like pulled back in a way. And it took me about 6 months for me to be able to like lift my arm above my head without feeling pain. So I was really considering going to like a physio place, but it started to actually get a bit better. So I think I'm healed, but that was really bad. I think it was rotator cuff. Because to be kicked in the shoulder, to be sore for like 6 months where you couldn't like raise your hand above your head, it was, to me that was quite serious. But not serious enough to like go to a physio right away. I just thought, fuck it, I'll just see what happens. And it got better. It always gets better, guys. That's your daily white pill for the day.
57,000 people dead the last 5 years. Total gun ban for the citizens.
But
Switzerland has the lowest crime rate in Europe. Your country has the highest.
Alex, we have 35 gun murders a year. You have 11,000.
You people get their brains. It's the higher crime rate.
Let me ask you.
Violent crime is higher.
On this specific...
It's brains.
Alex,
it's people.
I'm trying to get inside your brains.
Pierce,
it's
if
not
you punched me
very
right
easy.
now, it'd be not your fist, but your brain that did
Alex,
it.
let me get inside your brain.
Okay.
Okay? I'm serious. You have a very, very big platform.
Fuck.
You air, I think, on 6...
Is it not true? I've not seen the stats in a while. I'm sure it's just shared in Telegram or 4chan or something. If you not like separate African Americans out of the gun crime in the United States, is it not like lower than Canada and Finland and stuff? So that's I'm pretty sure that's something they're not going to discuss here. But that is just the elephant in the room. That's the gun crime.
63 networks.
No, that Wikipedia is like 10 years old. I'm on over 140 stations. XM.
Millions of Americans hear you.
Over 1.5 million
day.
visitors to Infowars.com
And I
today.
congratulate
Where we have
Nice plug.
right now. Infowars.com.
Who do you believe was behind 9/11?
Oh, I absolutely know. I have the police on CNN saying, get back, they're going to blow up 7. I have BBC reporting.
Who do you believe is behind
I have the
There's old footage of Alex Jones talking about the Israelis involved in 9/11. He's very, very clear about that. So, does he mention it in this one? Probably not. I've not covered the Epstein files. I don't really know how to cover the Epstein files. Because what I'm thinking is, if I was to cover the Epstein files, I guess I could gloss over that a lot of like weird shit took place. But that's what's consuming the minds of people, is all this kind of like weird possible satanic rituals, the blatant kind of grooming. It's what needs to be discussed, because that's all bad. We all know that. But it's the blackmailing. It's how he was connected to people. So I'm trying to like think, how could I make a video with my own kind of like spin on it? That's, you know, stuff that's not already been said. Like, maybe I'm doing myself a disservice by not growing the channel in that way, by covering like lots of current events. But I feel like if I'm making something, I don't want to just be repeating stuff that has already been said by 1,000 people at the same time. Maybe I'm just like, I don't know, maybe I'm just looking at my possible content in a wrong way. But I want it to, you know, I like it when my channel, you go into my channel, there's like the style of content, the stuff being covered. Not necessarily the stuff being said. I'm not really saying anything too original. Maybe I am, but with my own kind of spin on it. But I want it to be like very unique in that way. Pardon me. But if I want to grow the channel, then, you know, beggars can't be choosers. But I've got some Murdoch stuff in the works to be made. So maybe I'll just focus on that. People love Murdoch. Not made a Murdoch video in a while. Always thought about what to do for a Murdoch video, because I don't want to get the channel banned. But I found a way of how to do it now with what I'm making. And I've made some recordings. I need to do some other stuff for it. It might not be a super long video as well. So it's maybe good not to have all these my videos being very, very long all the time. So it'd be good to kind of experiment with that.
I heard them on CBS Radio.
Alex?
They announced they blew up the towers on CBS Radio. New Yorkers all saw it and heard it.
Alex, who do you
They
believe?
blew up Building 7.
Alex, who do you believe was behind it? The American government?
Criminal elements of the military-industrial complex, the same ones that staged Gulf of Tonkin, the same ones that staged Operation, the mass shootings of Operation Gladio.
Right.
Ooh, the CIA don't like
What's
that.
Operation Gladio? I've not heard that.
President Bush and his administration were behind 9/11.
I mean that even mainstream news reported that the hijackers were ordered to be allowed into the United States. Michael Springman, the head of the visa department, blew the whistle on that.
So the Bush administration was part of a conspiracy.
Well,
to
he
murder,
said never let us tolerate
to murder.
I can speak in this accent as well.
Yeah.
The
But is that what you
government,
believe?
Hitler firebombed his own Reichstag, Pierce, to bring in martial law in Germany, April 27th, 1930.
It is true. See, having like a certain accent, it just sometimes elevates your points to a level that would not be as palatable if you had a different accent. I mean, I'm from Scotland. My accent's not super harsh, so Americans can understand it. But is that like a novelty to the Americans watching, or even like people who are not British? Is my accent a novelty that makes it more interesting to watch? Because sometimes when people have like a certain voice, I cannot watch it. I cannot watch certain people's voices or listen to certain people's voices if it's just so like berating. It's almost as if some people's voices are like 433 hertz and the frequency is just like out of sync with what it should be. If that makes sense.
33. Governments have staged terror attacks throughout history or allowed terrorists to attack as a pretext to invade and enslave the populations. I probably own more than 50 firearms. Many of them have increased in value 2, 3, or even 4 times. I sleep very comfortably outside Austin, Texas, knowing that I can defend my family.
Okay, Alex Jones. This is
Infowars.com.
This is the man who wants to deport me from the country for wanting to get rid of
It's
assault
to
rifles,
point out you're a foreigner,
commit
a
mass
red coat,
outrages.
here telling us what to do.
Whatever.
Go back to where they took the guns if you don't like it. The communist.
I love how he's like fucking screaming at him while they're like fading out. Red coat. That's a good kind of like. I would like if people called me a red coat. That's quite a cool kind of like. It's almost like not an insult. Almost like having like, you know, owning like a line, you know, line infantry red coat from like 18th century, 19th century. That would be a pretty cool look in the wintertime. That'd be pretty smart. Right. What else could be fucking chill on the background? Because I would play maybe just like stuff in the background, but I can't have the sound on in this game. It'd just be cars driving, because it's just going to be licensed music relentlessly. Suppose I can watch some more of the Wings of Redemption one. The Ricky Doolin one. Should have had some more in the bag. There's no debates on like... There's no real debates on a Joey Diaz... No, I mean Joe Rogan stuff. Nothing that interesting, I would say. Let's see. What is my... Everyone's YouTube recommendation always looks way, way different. So what sort of like proper propaganda? I'm getting recommended Breaking Banquet now. That's good. What else we got here? Just a bunch of shit. Sargon's Furry. What's this? Jim versus Corsi. Don't even know who that is. Metacrist Murdoch Chanian Archiver. Let's check this channel out. Let's see what else this guy's got. Nah, it's just a bunch of Jim's old streams. If you guys like Jim Essaker and his old streams, it looks like this channel does a bunch of them archived. TRR. What's even TRR? I'm not so sure. What was the other debates that were like mentioned in the chat earlier? Because we can like watch probably... I've probably got like an hour. So we have like an hour to find some potential... It'll be funny if we watch like Asmongold, me reacting to Asmongold, reacting to stuff. That'd be quite... Well, that'd be fucking annoying actually. But there'd be a level of like meta irony, which would be funny in hindsight. Well, what we could actually... I've been watching... It's not this. But we could watch in real time one of the kind of old kind of like documentaries. So we could do it almost like my style of video, but in real time. Yeah, this is the sort of channel that I've like found. This is quite good. This one doesn't blast me for like copyright. So I've been finding a lot of stuff here. That's usually quite good. Let's see. 1981 special, The Bronx. South Bronx. Is that like a film? What's this? Muhammad Ali. Let me just see here. Where's the... Let's just search Riot. 1960. Yeah, I did this one actually a while ago. The 1970 Ashbury Park Race Riot. What's this one?
Human nature being what it is probably impossible to entirely eliminate police overreaction in dangerous situations, and for law-abiding residents of disturbed neighborhoods to completely suppress resentment at rough handling by police during disorder. But effort and understanding on both sides are needed, or else police presence by itself can further aggravate an already explosive situation. This is Bill Brannigan, ABC News, Asbury Park.
Let me skip past some of the music, because these old documentaries, they always do the same thing. They'll have like a little premise at the start to kind of teach you what it's about. And it's not as if they'll have an introduction of like a little like 30-second bit. They'll literally play like 4 minutes of music playing over B-roll footage. So let's, let me just see how I can... Nope. Nope.
They did nothing to the...
There we go. If we want the true old Sterling effect, I should probably play some Silent Hill music in the background of this.
I can personally vouch for the fact that the state police serve more as a destructive force. We would like to give them the new name as stormtroopers because they did nothing to...
Stormtroopers, guys. This history repeats. How many times do we hear these police are stormtroopers? The ICE are stormtroopers. It almost makes you think. I mean, I like Star Wars. Well, I loosely like Star Wars, like the originals and some of the prequels. But the whole kind of like stormtroopers, it was just a reframing of history to essentially do World War II but in space, where there's baddies and there's good guys. And that allowed people to then, when they kind of look into World War II, they imprint their understanding of Star Wars onto World War II, and it simplifies how they review history. They review it through the lens of Star Wars, apply that to World War II. There's good guys and bad guys. Simple as that, right?
To preserve peace, they did more to harass and create further disturbance. And of course, there are the alleged charges that they used excessive force was true.
We have a terrific job ahead of us to rebuild the relations between the police and the public. And this is where we're going to focus most of our attention in the future in police-community relations. We're going to use a consultant to formulate a program for us, both in training and selection. And as a result of his...
That's the point I made in like the recent video. When I talk about we have to rebuild community relations, rebuild our relationship with the police. Okay, so the police kind of can, meet the community leaders or whoever's representing the community, which is usually some Marxist. But what is the community doing to rebuild trust for the police? Because the police are there because they feel like they need to be there. Crime is high. Is the community doing anything to rebuild its side? This is why nothing's actually ever gets fixed. Because when it says rebuild relations, it just means the police will go easy on them, which then results in more crime. Then they have to go hard again, and then something bad happens, and then they have to rebuild relations again. It's the same old story again and again, which is because it is so it's such a template story. I thought when I was initially going through a lot of these old archives, I thought, oh, I've got like a plethora of content where I can make these historical hindsights. But I feel like if I did it again and again, it would get boring. Because literally, it would be the same video, just repeated. Because it's all the same shit.
recommendations. That's what we're going along with. Because you got to change attitudes and you have to change methods of meeting situations and attitudes that that men may have towards them.
What would you do differently if you were faced with the same problem again?
Well, probably make a greater effort to prevent it. That's the number one thing. And this is foremost in our minds right now, to prevent a reoccurrence of such a situation.
Would you employ different tactics in the midst of it?
Well, this I couldn't answer it at this time because each situation has to be met differently in most cases, because there are certain things which never change, but then the situations change.
Oh, this was a great footage actually. Remember
Is
this?
the problem of police...
I think I showed some of this in one of my older videos. This is like wild. You think riots are bad now? I mean, look at this back in the 60s.
Got one.
No fucking paintballs here. This is live shit. I thought it was commentary in this, sorry. That was commentary, but I guess not. Sorry about that. Let's see. Miami riots. That could be an interesting one. Miami riots. What were they upset about in Miami? What caused them to kick off in 1980? It says 1980 to 89. Was there 9 years of riots and riots.
Of police brutality against blacks.
Oh no.
Civiletti also instituted a unique Justice Department watchdog system over police brutality cases handled by the Office of State's Attorney Janet Reno.
That's that you're playing games, okay?
Blacks have complained repeatedly that her office has not cracked down on police brutality, culminated in the acquittal of 4 policemen last weekend that touched off the rioting. Black leaders have also called for Ms. Reno's resignation, and she has refused, prompting suggestions that the system of justice in general, and specifically Ms. Reno, are becoming the scapegoat for the rioting here.
Black leaders are calling for my resignation. I think that's being done from a sense of frustration.
Janet Reno. Remember, when people sometimes say it's the same type of people causing this like cycle of history to repeat again and again, it's not the same types of people. In some cases, it's the same exact people who are like at the root of these problems. I missed something there in the chat. That's fine.
Frustration, if you characterize that as my being made a scapegoat, then yes, if people can go out and riot and pillage and loot and kill to force an elected official from office, that destroys our entire elective system.
Civiletti said the Justice Department's investigation will begin with a grand jury that will be convened here tomorrow. Fred Graham, CBS News, Miami.
Of the country. The death toll in Miami now stands at 16, but apparently there were no deaths overnight as a curfew took hold at 8 p.m. and as Florida Governor Bob Graham again went on television with another broadcast appeal. Steve Croft picks up.
I'm surprised there's not kind of more riots in Miami, because Miami is like a multicultural diaspora. I'm not really sure what's keeping Miami together. Anyone in Florida in the chat? Anyone want to give me the breakdown of Miami? Because my vision of Miami is, well, I've got two visions. I've got Grand Theft Auto Vice City, the sort of idealistic view of Miami, that's still kind of like crime and drugs, and now the kind of the modern view of Miami, where it's just like it's like South Africa, and with drugs and crime. But it seems to be, is Miami quite wealthy? Is that why? Is it quite a place where people with money, they go to Miami? So it kind of like keeps the riffraff out. Is that right?
The story at that point.
We desperately need a night of brotherhood before we can begin to build a future of peace in Miami.
Florida Governor Bob Graham went on statewide television last night pleading for reason and tranquility. Police and National Guardsmen once again imposed a curfew over much of northwest Miami.
As of 8 o'clock, we have a curfew.
At dusk, there were signs on the street that the violence that transformed much of Liberty City into rubble and left 16 people dead might be over.
All the white people, please, is burnt down. So we don't need them National Guard. You see what I'm saying?
Shit, man.
What they should do is just pull them crackers on out. We don't need no curfew. Ain't nothing else around here for us to burn down.
But
Shit,
there were
man.
things left to burn. And
Just let me burn down my
that
house.
Night, arsonists torched buildings and set Miami's skies ablaze. Snipers kept the firemen away. Authorities tried to be optimistic. The level of violence was down, they said. No one had died since Monday afternoon. Miami's fragmented black community met and selected former Miami Commissioner Athalie Range as their spokesman. She's trying to convince blacks that the violence is counterproductive.
Let the
In
camera go
hopes
down.
of slowing the destruction, already estimated in the hundreds of millions of dollars, Miami's government and civic leaders have adopted a conciliatory tone.
What we have here is a problem that no one person or no one organization or no one government can assume full responsibility for the failure. We're all responsible. And the solution for this problem is in us all.
Attorney General Benjamin Civiletti was in town, and tomorrow a federal grand jury will begin probing the death of black businessman Arthur McDuffie at the hands of 4 local white police officers. It was their acquittal in state court that touched off the violence on Saturday. NAACP President Benjamin Hooks is here. Jesse Jackson prayed with riot victims, and Andrew Young toured black neighborhoods, worrying that violence might spread to other U.S. cities.
Violence has a way, like nonviolence, of being contagious.
and I am worried about it.
Young says there is little that black leaders can do to stop violence once it's erupted, that they can only translate the rage into some kind of positive change. That process is now underway. The hope is it will gain momentum as the rioters run out of steam. Steve Proff, CBS News, Miami.
Before the current troubles...
She's a good wee beast, isn't she? And you're probably bothering me because it's due your walk soon. Yeah, let's like wrap up in like 10 minutes then. I'll take you out. We'll call it a bit shorter now. I can take her out and go to the gym. Anyone else going to the gym today? It's a war zone. It does look like a war zone. A lot of these like older riots look like a war zone. Like a good one that I covered in an older video. It was an absolutely brilliant. This one I think was great. The story of this, again, we probably could just react to my own video, was an unlicensed bar. They like skim over this. There was an unlicensed bar that went on till 3 in the morning and they shut it down. And apparently, I think when it was like I don't think it's this report, they said like a stone was thrown. A stone was thrown and then that caused pandemonium. Who threw the stone? Why was the stone thrown? Why is shutting down an unlicensed bar a cause for such devastation? What's going on here? Fuck it, let's leave the camera as is.
In 100 places, Detroit is afire. The destroyers striking from as far as 3 miles away from this west side ghetto, where it all began early this morning with a police raid on an after-hours drinking parlor. There have been some reports of gunfire. Police are under orders not to fire. Rock and bottle throwing took some casualties among firemen, police, and 3 newsmen. A white man was stabbed this morning as he got off a bus in the area.
That sounds good, right?
No serious injuries are known. More than 200 looters have been arrested so far. Police officials say they do not have enough men to worry much about the looters. They are there to protect the firemen.
That is such a good premise. I remember watching this video and I was like, wow, that is just, we're like 44 seconds in. So you have the unlicensed bar, a stone was thrown, buildings burnt down, 200 looters, a white man stabbed at the bus, and the police can't protect anyone other than the firemen because the firemen have to be protected to put out fires, otherwise they themselves will be harassed. Why does this happen? Why does this happen in a civilized society? I can't imagine that happening 100 years prior.
100 square blocks are now under siege. Governor Romney rushed to Detroit today to meet with Mayor Jerome Kavanaugh, who placed a curfew on the city at nightfall.
Detroit being Detroit, yeah, it's kind of like Detroit was the Paris of America, and now today, Paris is the Detroit of Europe. You see how things kind of work around like that? That's always quite funny to me.
Many Negro shop owners put up signs reading Soul Brother to avoid damage, but the fire...
Again, even like during Black Lives Matter, how many black-owned business don't burn us down? It's a black-owned business. It's the same shit. The same shit.
Fire bombers and looters are indiscriminate.
And many of these stores are being looted, especially the white ones, because there's some bitterness. They feel that the prices are too high. They feel that they're being gouged. But of course, some of them in this crowd are just getting what they can get for nothing. So.
Now, you are a Negro shop owner. Why were you looted?
Well, with any group, any mob, you're going to find people who they don't care about race, they don't care about color, they don't care about religion, anything. They just want to get something for nothing.
That's something that people mentioned in other videos, where a lot of the people back then, they sounded a lot more articulate. Everyone says that, from the news reporters, the people being interviewed, regardless of where they are. They just sound a lot more articulate in a way that makes you just think they're more intelligent. Because now, even maybe like 20 years later, we just watched that Miami one. That guy was like, "Shit, man, don't burn down the cracker homes." It's it only takes a generation for the previous generation to be almost a distant memory. This is like 1967, but it might as well be 1867 to people in the 1980s. It is just already so far gone.
Who do you think is doing this?
I really don't know. I don't have no idea. I don't have any idea.
Who? We all are doing it. That's who's doing it. I tell you who's doing it.
Let's just end on that then. Let's just review this bit here. Just listen to what was said there. So the interview is asking them, who's doing this? Who's doing this?
Who do you think is doing this?
I really don't know. I don't have no idea.
I have no idea. I don't know. We didn't do nothing. While there's literally everything being stolen behind them.
I don't have any idea.
Who? We all are doing it. That's who's doing it. I tell you who's doing it.
We all doing it. We all doing it. At least he's honest. At least he's honest.
1,100 National Guardsmen have been rushed into as many areas as they can cover, protecting police. Looters carry off thousands of dollars worth of goods with a gay sort of leisure. Gun shops have been raided and...
A gay sort of leisure. That's funny. That's good. Yeah, let me just... OST. Yeah, this is literally how to make an old Sterling video. Find some archived footage, reduce the noise, put Silent Hill music in the background, or Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines, and it just creates this sort of like eerie effect. That's a vibe. I mean, that's what I've noticed when I sometimes make videos is there's sometimes moments of like serendipity where the music will kind of line up in a way. I'll sometimes try do that where let's say if I finish speaking, let's say there's like a clip, I speak, a clip, I speak, I'll try fade off the, because I don't do chapters in my videos, but I'll try fade off the music in a way. So potentially when we want to change tone, change theme, maybe change topic within the video, we'll do another song. So there'll kind of be like because some of the songs reach a kind of like a crescendo. So it's kind of a good way to kind of keep a good pace where we're not building slowly, we're kind of building up. Then we kind of like calm it down, build back up again. And it's usually just through, I think if you don't have headphones, you don't hear the music as well, and I try have the music loud enough where it's noticeable, but not loud enough where it's overpowering. But I feel like the music is just so kind of, to me it's quite important in making the video feel enthralling. Because even just watching this, you can tell it's, it's interesting. But at the same time, it's boring. It's not going to hold people's attention. So we need to kind of like, just add little things to kind of grip people's attention for a little bit longer. And sometimes it's just adding cool music. What's another kind of good song here actually? There's like I really like, is it Maternal Heart? Is it this one? That's a good one as well actually, yeah. Such a good soundtrack. I think Silent Hill 3 soundtrack is actually better than Silent Hill 2 because there's like more standout songs that are just like really cool to like vibe to. I feel like the music gets into the topic more. Yeah, again, because it's the music kind of like, because let's say if I was to play like a super cheery song, because some of these documentaries do that. See the one I did on the Windrush videos. See when they're talking about people coming to Britain And then there's all this kind of like, you know, it's framing in a good way. They use like kind of very upbeat jingles. But as soon as I like take that away, let's see if I can find actually Windrush generation. See what I mean? Let's see here.
More stories.
This is the fucking music they used. Alright guys, we're just jiving, we're just destroying our civilization. Don't worry about it. They're just destroying civilization. But if I instead do this instead. Scary. Which is different to... Yeah, I mean... Dude, we're just having a good time. You know, there's this like ethnic clash that's never happened in our history. It's just a good time because everything, it works out in the end, am I right? So... That's a... And I was thinking about it, in a way, that is me, I'm creating, because that is propaganda, because I'm framing it in a way to make people feel a certain way. But that's just the way it goes, right? You know, we have to be, I'm actually going to like focus on that kind of point a little bit in the Murdoch video that I'm going to do, where I think it's going to be called something like effective propaganda. Because propaganda is, it's framed as a bad thing. That's propaganda. This is propaganda. But propaganda is just presenting your opinion in a way, to frame it in a way that's palatable, to make people think that's what you're saying is good. I mean, every BBC a news report is propaganda. Every Nick Fuentes show is propaganda. Every Hassan stream is propaganda. You know, this stream is pretty low-level propaganda, but it is still propaganda. It's just the word has a bad connotation because of how it was used by, I guess the Germans and the Soviets. You know, they were very heated in creating political propaganda. How do you get away with the soundtracks from the games? I thought you would get demonetized. Game soundtrack seems to be the thing that doesn't hit you. Where if I was to use like licensed music, because think about it, if I'm to play a game, right? If I play any game, not a game like Burnout with like real songs on the radio. If you play a game and if I was to upload me playing gameplay, the song will not be hit as copyright because the song is part of the game. And the game, like you could play any game, it's not going to hit with copyright. So by using the music, it's kind of the same. It's probably still kind of skirting around the edges. I'm probably still not supposed to do it, but it doesn't get picked up on the YouTube thing right now. So I'm going to take advantage of that as much as possible. Because another one I like to do is day 6. Is it 2? It's like one that's like 2 hours. This is a really good, really good video. Because most games that have great soundtrack, they'll have soundtrack for like battles and fighting, which is like really upbeat, really fast paced, which you don't always want when you're chilling out. But I really like this video because it is all just the more ambient, kind of relaxing stuff. And I've used quite a lot of songs from this game in videos. Like I used let me see if I can find actually the video that I've made actually. Let me see. Bear with me. I know I'm trying to wrap up here, but let me just view your channel. The old Sterling channel, 61 watching. Cool. Defund the police. I really like this little bit that I made in this video. It's just the way the music switches up. And again, it's kind of, it actually said, somebody said in the comments there, it gets you kind of like more involved. Because the way the music switches up here is just so cool. and one of those problems makes up about 6 or 7% of the population. 6, 7?
Their unit is over the pursuit. Air unit, their location.
How we looking? 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 Good. There are certain radio calls that really get the adrenaline pumping.
Yeah, that's cool. And again, if anyone's asking why do I keep the little TV thing, one, I think it's aesthetically quite interesting, but a lot of the old documentaries are 4:3. So rather than me stretching it out, it's just sometimes easier just to cram it in this little like television thing. And also it allows me to kind of have the kind of like TV transitions, which allow me to kind of like cut between things a lot more seamlessly if it looks like it's kind of like switching channel. Because there's like 5 or 6 effects I'll use and kind of like rotate between, where it just allows me to, it makes the cuts less jarring as if you are actually switching channel. If you do, it means more minorities will be arrested, and that makes us look bad.
17 Walgreens councilmen pulling out of the Bay Area because the...
Yeah, and also it's kind of defined the channel in a way. I'm not going to do it all the time, but it's for these historical documentaries. It just, it's it make if from first glance you know the channel you're watching. So yeah, but yeah, I'm kind of the ending talk. Yeah, the ending talk of this one is like Joe Rogan and some guy, I don't know who it is. And this little clip here is from Andrew Breitbart. I've actually got the book here actually. So this kind of like bit of chat at the end here. I know you want to go out, just bear with me.
Critical theory in another destructive direction as well.
From this one.
While repeating the Marxist trope that the workers of the world would eventually unite, he saw the Third World's anti-colonial movements as evidence that Marx was right.
Yeah, it's a good book actually. It's one of the first kind of things that there's a chapter called Breakthrough where he kind of discovered the Frankfurt School. But Andrew Breitbart, he didn't get everything quite right. He missed one of the what's the best way to phrase this? This stream's going to be unlisted because of the bad language earlier. But there was one thing that a lot of these people had in common, like Saul Alinsky, Horkheimer, Franz Boas, Freud, Marcuse. There was something that there was a connecting feature of some kind. And he didn't quite pick up on this because he even used the expression, these people are trying to destroy Judeo-Christian society. So he doesn't quite get it. But I mean, he wrote this, and when was this written actually? It says 2012, but I thought he died in 2011. Let's see. First Trader 2012? Was it 2013 he died? Maybe. Not so sure. But yeah, he was pretty cool. And then he got killed because I think he was initially going to be. He kind of got into the whole kind of Pizzagate stuff and was talking about John Podesta and all this kind of weird shit. And he apparently died of a heart attack. So yeah, that's it. That sleeveless band top. No, it's a Silent Hill 2. I see maybe dog wagging her tail. She wants to go out. So I'm gonna just call it there. That was a fun wee stream. As I said, I was maybe going to do it tomorrow, but I've got like a driving thing I need to do. So I don't know what time that's going to be at. But I'll definitely stream Saturday. It'll be like, I might stream on YouTube for like a little bit. And then I will like say, guys, we're going to move on to Rumble. And then we'll try to do that. And what else? Yeah, we'll do like kind of a Murdoch watch along. So I'm trying to think about the episodes I want to watch, but I think we might just watch The Guardian and The Rune. The Guardian and The Rune, like the hour and a half long kind of film they made. That could be quite cozy to watch, I think. But I've not streamed on Rumble before. I'm pretty sure it's simple as this, right? I'm pretty retarded when it comes to the tech stuff. But I'm sure it's just a matter of linking OBS into it, right? Guard of the Rune is the best, yeah. Yeah, it is goated. I like what else I like? I know a lot of people's favourites like the Kekistan one, which I'm going to do a video on, but my favourite's still Race Jam. I just love Race Jam so much. I think I posted it in the Telegram chat a while ago. It'll be way too long to go back. Yeah, the only reason why I asked if in the Telegram if people knew who, I didn't really know the context of this character here. And just to double check if I had any reason to add, you know, to make notice of it in the video, but it doesn't really add any context, so it's not going to be it's not going to be relevant to the video I'm making. I just wanted to be sure because Mouthy Vishnu Masad, I just wasn't so sure. Faking Gay, that's a great one, because I just love the wrestling. I love the kind of the wrestling way of doing it. It's so funny. Anyways, let's just call it. I'm going to take the dog out. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do... What are we going to do at the gym today? Dog. I'm not sure. I know I need to just go to the gym. Kekistan's a great introduction. That's why I'm going to do the video on the Kekistan, just because people who are like left wing, they just watch 15 minutes of that Kekistan episode and immediately the worldview is flipped upside down. It's so effective, such effective propaganda. Yes. Mouthy Buddha. Yeah, I don't know. I know it's a Mouthy Buddha. I just don't know who it actually is. Again, it's kind of like I'm familiar with so many people from that episode and who they show, but there's the odd people who are just, you know, relevant for that space of time. But now 10 years have passed and some of them just don't exist in any way. Anything happen on X? Again, you go on X and immediately just get fucking red pilled. Oh no, it's just somebody else's IQ. I thought it was going to be an IQ chart. Your IQ is 64. That is not good. That is not a good number. Sargon, Carl Benjamin. Is Russia a communist country? Not really. It's just sort of an oligarch, isn't it? Well, I suppose every society now is just an oligarchy of elites. Who knows? What else is going on? Yeah, just watch me doom scroll for another hour. Just watch me doom scroll.
Did at court, which was the two arguments. One, that it wasn't actually a complete salute. Like if he was going to do a salute, he would do it properly. So he kind of like stopped himself halfway through upon realization that it was now illegal.
See, is that Jacob Herson still going through the fucking rigmarole for that half salute? That's crazy. Oh, the rape gang inquiry. Let's see how that's coming along. Jake Shields, Count Dankula. Here, this guy's a bit of a lockout, isn't he? DSD?
Lesbian haircut because lesbians, all right, try to have a haircut that emulates that of like a manly man. That's the point. When you say lesbian haircut, you're thinking a manly haircut. So you're saying that I went and I got a manly haircut. Okay. Decide to react.
That's enough internet for the day, guys. I'm going to call it. Thanks very much. Goodbye.